Franklin County Board of County Commissioners 9th session. Commissioner Jones, would you lead us in the prayer and the pledge, please, sir?
Yes, sir. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the protection that you give. Pray that you protect everyone from this impending storm. Father, be with us today in our decision-making and our understanding. Help us to make the best and most prudent decisions for Franklin County for today and for every tomorrow you give us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning. Next on the agenda will be approval of the minutes. That'll be the minutes for September 1 meeting.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Bassett, second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous. Next on the agenda be payment of the county bills.
So moved.
Got a motion
Second.
on the floor by Commissioner Bassett, second by Commissioner Burt. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous. Next we on the agenda, we got, public comment. Alan, you got something to
Mr.
talk
Chairman.
about?
Yes, sir. Let me just introduce the public comment section by saying something that I believe there may be two callers on the line this morning asking the board to revisit an issue that's been discussed in the past. And these two callers were not part of the discussions, but they have made their own efforts with Representative Schoaf. And the issue is water access at Alligator Harbor. You have some clam aquaculture people there who are concerned that when the winter tide comes this year that the access is going to be once again an issue down there. And we all know about Sun and Sand as a county road. It's a dirt end, the street end that dead ends in Alligator Harbor. Leonard's Landing, the other county access point, is way too shallow. So these two callers will be talking about, I think, asking Representative Schoaf to put pressure on, I hate to use that word, but I guess I will, put pressure on DEP to go ahead and start building the access point that is on now state-owned land. It's the best access point. And I don't have a name for that access point, but Commissioner Massey might have a sort of a local name for it, but it's over there on the mainland on Alligator Harbor. It's a deep area. I think it may be around Oyster Island or some area like that. Anyway, these callers may be discussing that with you all this morning, so I just want to mention that's why they're calling. And since you all don't take action or public comment, I'll bring the issue back up at the end of my report and see if there's any direction based upon what these two individuals talk about.
That's the one we've been writing them letters and talking to them, and they ain't done nothing about it, huh?
Well, there's been several things on Alligator Point they haven't done anything about. One is DOT taking the road, but yes, this other issue is access to Alligator Harbor, because the clam aquaculture people were given leases by the state of Florida without any adequate access. And we complained about them, and I provided copies of letters that we wrote as far back as 2 years ago to DAC saying, don't continue to expand the leasing opportunities in Alligator Harbor unless you solve the access problem. And DAC's ignored that and went ahead and issued 30 more leases out there. So there's a total of over 60 leases out there, and there's no good access for these people. And in the wintertime, in the winter bar or winter tides, they're having a hard time getting their product, and those aquaculture leases have to be worked. It's not like the natural bar where if you don't want an oyster or can't oyster, you just let the oysters continue to grow. With aquaculture, you have to work those bags. You have to turn them over. You have to be able to get out there and get that stuff. And you've got a big effort involved and a big investment involved by these aquaculture people, and they are concerned that their effort is going to go to nothing if they don't continue to have access. Representative Schoaf had presented to you all and told you all that on the acquisition of 17,000 acres of land, that DEP was going to have in their big scheme of things money to build other improvements out there, and some of the improvements would deal with Alligator Harbor. And what I would think these callers are asking for is to see if Schoaf can move those improvements ahead so that at least the access issue on Alligator Harbor gets dealt with first, because if it doesn't get dealt with, you're going to have people out there in economic hardships based upon the investment they've made. So that's where I think where we're headed this morning with these two callers, but I will certainly defer to them to what they say exactly.
But the money they got, all the money, they haven't done nothing with that money. It's just sitting there. They ain't putting nothing out there.
This is DEP money?
Yeah, because the boys have to buy their own poles, their own cameras, I was down there, they have to buy everything that goes on that with their money. They're not using none of that $10,000 per acre for nothing.
Wow, okay,
Well,
Well-
yeah,
Plus, they got a double, triple problem down there, 'cause that same road, what they use it, on holidays, you have people coming in fishing.
Mm-hmm.
The people can't get to work 'cause the fishermen, whoever get in there first, the rest of them stuck. Then they say you park on the outside, get a
Or
ticket.
get a ticket, right.
So it's a bit of a problem.
Yes, sir. To emphasize what you just said about that problem, about 2 months ago, we had a portional meeting here with leadership relative to what potential exchanges that the county could receive in lieu of that 17,500 acre parcel that has just been taken over by the state. And we did bring up this subject about the need for more road access, particularly there in County Commercial. So there is that potential happening there.
Yeah, and it's a problem because, it's just like, you got to get access everywhere you go. I mean, if you allow, it's just like building a house. If you allow people to build a house, you got to give them access. If you allow them people to have them leases, you got to give them access. And they got to have boat trailers. And right now, people got to go buy new trucks because a regular truck won't pull their stuff out of that boat ramp.
Yeah, they
You
need
got to have a
four-wheel drive trucks down there.
You got to
instead
have
of-
a four-wheel drive truck. And they steady putting expenses on people and not doing nothing.
I just want to introduce the topic in case callers are online.
Okay, we can, I don't know, state of Florida.
All right, Commissioner, so we have a few callers on hold, and I'm going to have to go through them. Apologize, there was
Go
a
ahead.
sound problem over there again. I'll go through them by phone calls. I know John Solomon's on there, so I know he's not for, public comments. He's on the agenda. I see Tracy Busby's on there, so, Mr. Watkins, I'm not sure. Oh, I'm sorry. First, let me get to another item. So we had 4 public hearings scheduled today, 2 land use, 2 rezonings, they're all tied together. That applicant, by email, has actually asked that these not be heard today. He confirmed that by email. So those public hearings will not be heard today. They're on the agenda because they're advertised as such, but we have a note on the agenda saying that he asked for them to be removed from the agenda. I say that to say if there's anyone on the line that wanted to comment either now or later on, I need them to know that those public hearings will not be heard today. Okay? And with that said, let me go to Mr. Watkins and see, and I'll ask anyone that knows, I know it's a learning curve for everyone, anyone that knows how to raise their hand, *9 if you're on the phone, or you hit the little hand icon if you're on a computer, or you click more and then raise hand if you're on a smart device like a tablet or smartphone. If you would do that, that would help tremendously. But I will in fact go to Mr. Watkins and see if he has anything that he'd like to say at this time. Mr. Watkins?
I just wanted to confirm that the Otter Slide land use change and zoning change were pulled from the agenda. That's the only reason I'm here.
All right, Mr. Watkins, they have, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, and if you print a copy of the agenda, there's confirmation on there that they've been done, okay?
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, next caller is let's see, 508-9465 number. Do you have anything for the board today? One more time, 850-545, oh, that one actually hung up. All right, so now I have 850-545-0696. I'm asking you to unmute. Do you have any comments for the board today? Moving down the list, 927-2334. I'm asking you to unmute. Do you have any comments for the board today? 927-2334. And the last on the list, I'll go down to Ms., identified as Ms. D. Strickland. Ms. Strickland, do you have any comments for the board today? Commissioners, with that said, there are no public comments.
Okay. Public comments? Public comments? Next on the agenda will be Superintendent of Public Works Department Directors, Mr. Howard Neighbors.
Good morning, Commissioners. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
I know for the last 6 months, it's always talking about the grass, but now it's gonna be the water. So, we've had a lot of rain, I think, 12, 13 inches a couple weeks ago. And I don't know how much we got this round, so. But, we've been cleaning ditches, cupboards, trying to keep everything draining and keep people dry, so. Got a few roads, I think, Duval and McIntyre's got a couple of washouts, which we got barricades up on the road when the water gets down a little bit, the ditches is just full and running over the road, so. And Alligator Point, I figured yesterday that it would be all blowed out, but surprised me, it wasn't. But last night we got a pretty good high tide, which took a lot of the shoulder out. But we got somebody there to fix it. As soon as the tide gets down, rain slacks off a little bit, we have that fixed.
And you know, Howard, it seems to me as I drive around the county that the holding ponds and the ditches seem to be doing what they're designed to do. They are filling up just as they're supposed to under situations like this. And it doesn't look like we have a spillover crisis in any area.
No, sir.
That's what I'm seeing.
Our biggest problem we have is people putting stuff in the ditches.
Yep.
A place on Smith Street in East Point, we went and checked, which there was stumps that was, people had dumped in the ditch and debris,
Yeah.
which we dug it out and got the water flowing pretty good, so. But it's all over the county. You take the water running over the roads with your pipe stopped up, and you got something shoved in it. It's hard to get it out.
Sure it is.
So, yeah.
What about, y'all having any Beaver Dam trouble?
We got a few beaver dams, some in Carabel, which I think Mr. Williams been dealing with.
We have a beaver dam in the county?
Then we got a few at, Bloody Bluff. We got beaver dams that we dig out, and some at Lighthouse Road also. That we dig out every couple of weeks. But
Now, you say you're having trouble with people throwing stuff in the ditch. You got any signage on that?
it's just people put that debris in certain places, and a lot of people put it in the ditch. Which a lot of them gonna buy, gets a lot of that stuff, if anything's left, get a lot of water to float up and wash up in pipes, and it just creates a stop up.
You
know,
think if
so
we put some kind of signage there, will that help?
you can, but we've been dealing with it for years, so
That ain't gonna help.
nah.
Ain't gonna help.
They just go down from the sign about 100 yards and dump it right there, so.
Well, I appreciate what you done for me. Thank you.
Oh,
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
on your workers, workforce, they took them from you?
Yeah, she said if it wasn't storm related, the cutting the grass and the stuff that we wasn't doing, that she'd have to move them elsewhere.
But we need them some kind of way,
But we definitely need them. So.
and they, Alan, what we can do to talk to the workforce about that?
I apologize. We're not talking about inmate workforce.
No, we're talking about FEMA.
Career source.
Yeah.
What we done in the past on stuff like that?
It's been a long time since I've dealt with it, so I have to call Kim Bodine and Modine and find out the details. But did we lose them because of the current weather conditions or so we don't have them, or because of funding?
We lost them on county. She said it wasn't caused from Hurricane Michael when it come through.
Yeah, that's why, okay,
So,
okay.
yeah.
They have them hired because of Hurricane Michael.
Yeah.
Running out of Hurricane Michael stuff.
Well,
I don't know, I have to ask, I mean, Kim Bodine is the one who handles that for the board, and I haven't talked to her in a long time. Michael,
I'm sorry,
may-
I walked out
yeah,
the
you may
room.
have a better idea.
And what were we talking about?
We,
Kim
we
Bodine.
losing workers, but kinda, they say it's not storm related, and we need people that, we need help. That, we were talking about that last.
Yeah, I'll call her and ask her, but commissioners, you have to remember now that those workers have to
Right.
be tied to Hurricane Michael specifically. It cannot be a COVID thing, or it can't be because we have people in quarantine and they need to fill in. They have to justify it and make sure it's tied to Hurricane Michael specifically. That it's some kind of cleanup effort or something that needed to be done because of Hurricane Michael.
Okay.
So I just want you guys to keep that in mind, but I will check with, and I'm sorry I missed it, I was adjusting the air conditioning. So, I'm sorry, Howard, so the problem is they're pulling?
Well, they pulled the ones I had, yeah, because, you know, we've been cutting grass, weed eating and stuff like that, cleaning, you know, covers, pipes from all the rain, and she said, but what from Hurricane Michael that they would have to pull them? I said, well, this ain't from Hurricane Michael, but,
Yeah,
so, which they gave them the Fonda, so,
yeah.
I guess you got them. What's that? The two workers there, you got them, that in the landfill?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'll double check with her and see, but I suspect that's what the problem is, Commissioner.
Okay, check and see if there's any way we can use them. You know, I understand they got rules and regulations they got to go through, but
Yeah,
we in a hardship too,
yeah,
so.
especially with, yeah, you know, and we all know how long it took to get this round of money from, you know, DEO, so, DEO, so, you know, I guess they're watching them really hard now, you know, and what they do, and the job descriptions, making sure that the job descriptions that we turned in is what they're actually doing.
Yeah,
But
okay,
I'll check with Kim.
okay.
And Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Howard, I just wanted to thank your staff for doing a weekend cleanup of the overhead limbs that were growing over Delaware Street and Oak.
Okay.
It brought the folks on that street a lot of help that
Yeah.
particular day.
And they was
Appreciate
happy, so-
Taking the weekend to do that.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Well, but then the road, yeah, Alligator Point, we on standby down there, so as
Yeah.
soon as that water gets down, that tide water gets up the edge of the road, there's nothing we could do.
Understand.
But,
Yeah, it looks like you got lots of good material stockpiled there.
Yes, sir.
To take care of it.
We do.
That's good.
Yeah.
Great.
And I've talked to the prison also that, about the inmate stuff, and she said hopefully maybe 2 to 3 weeks, some of the state officers may come out, but far as the county and the city inmates, they don't know when, so.
They, they got a lot of, still got high number of COVID over there.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So Howard, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, so Howard, did she say if they're gonna change their, move into another phase? Or they're gonna, did she, no?
Don't want you to mean about a stage, or, I just talked to them about the inmates, or any time they was gonna let them out, she said she didn't have a clue, but she said hopefully the state, some of the state officers, you know, which don't help the road department none, but may be able to come out 2 to 3 weeks. But our inmates, county and city inmates, she don't know when. But,
Mr. Chairman, I'll call the warden's office and
You
see.
need to stay on top of them, because they're talking about not letting them come back out of tall.
yeah,
McCown, they said there's nothing going into prison, they got it clean, and
I see.
Okay. All right, anybody else got anything else for Mr. Howard?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
Buster, I have a couple of things, but I'll get up with you later. I don't
okay.
I didn't write it down, so I'll get up with you
Okay.
later.
You can make me.
And we also got our, I was gonna bring up our new office that's coming on, they got our sidings up, I think Virginia sent Miss Aaron some pictures, so,
Yeah.
so it's coming along. And the rain's got them messed up right now, but the weekend they did to get all the siding and stuff up on it. So,
Yeah, I seen they had put the walls up.
yes, sir.
I meant the frames.
Frame, yeah. But they got a lot of crews and they work, I mean, they get it done, so hopefully this rain gets over with in 2 to 3 weeks, they, should be a big showing on it.
they doing a good job. I was out there the other day when they poured the concrete.
Yeah. It's looking good.
Well, we getting good rain, you can tell whether it's gonna be
Yeah,
How your drainage gonna be at this?
yeah.
That's right.
Find out real quick.
Yeah,
Well, we can make some drainage, you know, we got some equipment, we can make it drain, so.
yeah. All right, keep up the good work, Mr. Howard.
Yes, sir, thank y'all.
Thank you, Buster.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda will be Mr. Fonda Davis, Solid Waste Director report.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
I have one action item on my report this morning concerning the consolidated grant. For board action, I have the board, for board's approval and chairman's signature, the completed consolidated solid waste management grant application for fiscal year 2020 through 2021, the award of $93,750. The grant is used within the solid waste department to offset the cost of providing solid waste management service. The application needs to be signed by the chairman. Requested action, the board approval, chairman's signature on the consolidated grant.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Yes, sir, sure will.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to just comment on this solid waste grant application that this is additional monies that amend our solid waste disposal. Is that what this is?
Yes, it is, yes, sir, it's helped with some of the testing that we have. This is, like I say, offset, yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's a good thing.
yep.
Yeah, I wish it could get back the way it was. It was up to about 300,000 at one time.
Yeah, it went down now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, a long while ago, actually, the consolidated solid waste grant was the way that the county was able to replace equipment at the landfill, because it was about $300,000, and they finally did away with that, where we're not allowed to buy large pieces of equipment anymore.
That's
Right.
good. That's good. That's good utilization of public money.
Well,
We thank Eric for staying on top of that stuff.
Yeah.
Is they talking? You got something else?
No, I'm good.
Let me ask you, they talking about taking your inmate too? I mean, your people, they took, is the workforce they talking about?
Well, yeah, Commissioner, they called and asked me that we have any storm work going on, which we do, Island Park.
Okay,
It's, I don't know how deep, how far I talk to Pam, but we can always go out there and do something right now, so, yes, we,
okay, so y'all good,
right.
all right. Well, keep us posted on that, 'cause like I said, we, you know, we got a hardship, we got the inmates not coming out with the COVID, and then we behind, so I don't know, they ain't worried about that. Okay. Anybody got anything else for Mr. Davis?
I do, none of the commissioners. have
Go ahead.
anything else. Commissioners, if you turn to page 11 on your agenda, item number 5. Inform the board I was recently contacted by Mr. David Myrick regarding the bridge cleanup services he provides for the county. He explained that he can no longer provide those services at the current contract amount. And he explained, I'll pause right there, he explained that because he had a bigger contract, he was able to defer some of the costs like insurance, workman's comp, et cetera, he no longer has that big contract. So, so he could, again, he could no longer do what he does for us for the amount that we pay, is what he said. This contract started in March of 2010, but actually has not been renewed since 2013, to the best of my research and recollection, the information I received. The board has the option of advertising for this service, negotiating with Mr. Myrick, or using a county employee to provide these services. I'm asking for board discussion on directions, which way I should head with bridge cleanup.
You don't reckon we could try to see what we could do to help Mr. David or whatever? He does a good job. It's gonna be a mess if somebody stops cleaning that up.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to inform the board that TDC has put an extra 24,000 in its budget for this purpose, if the county so chooses to use it.
For cleaning up the bridge.
Yes, sir.
Is that available right now?
Yes, sir.
And entering on the bridges too,
Well, we got a sweeper. What they ever do with that sweeper out there?
To the airport,
Yeah.
Spears actually had reminded me that we had bought a brand-new sweeper that's been sitting there for how many years?
It's being used some at the airport, but it, you know, it might be able to be on a service provided, assuming we have someone who's competent to operate the thing. I don't know who operates it now. That's the concern. It's county-owned equipment. We just have to make sure we have a good operator. I don't know who that would be.
you'd have to close the bridge down while you sweep it.
No, it's the same kind of sweeper DOT uses. It
Oh, is it?
runs at highway, or not highway speed, but it drives along.
Pretty quick.
Just like a DOT sweeper.
Does it bag it up?
It sucks it up.
Okay, well, cause
Yeah, DOT did ask
blowing
me
it
that
out.
question. Yes, they sure did.
I mean, I haven't seen an operation in several years, so.
Then we gotta have the paper picked up on the ends, you know, each end and in between.
Yeah, still have to get the big debris out of the way first.
How many bridges do we have in the county?
Two that we're responsible for.
The St. Georgiana Bridge and Appalachian.
Oh, we're
between
talking about the
Appalachian and
major
Caravelle,
ones,
yeah.
We got Caravelle too.
That's not within the
Yeah,
city?
Right.
Well, halfway. The city limits are at the top of the bridge.
Oh,
Isn't that right?
No, that's
actually,
all
actually,
city.
it's the whole thing. You're right.
That's the whole
yeah.
city.
I thought that's one of the contracts he had for the city of Caravelle.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I thought. But, Commissioner, I understand, and I'll say this, you know, the board has pushed over the years to make sure every couple of years contracts are put out, especially with TDC, vendor contracts are put out for bid, you know, just to see if you can get a competitive price. So that's been kind of your policy to do. So again, I don't know what direction the board wants to go in. Simply ignore that and renegotiate with Mr. Myrick, go out for bid, or see if we can get, funds. Do you have any employees that are part-time that you think could pass the certification and do this?
Yes.
If the county decides they wanna try it in-house and see how that works?
I do have a part-time employee, yes, sir.
So that's basically your three options, commissioners.
Yeah, and we,
Okay, good to hear.
Mr. Chairman, we also had a discussion, if the board will remember a while back, with Mr. Myrick about adding days, and it went from 12,000 to 24,000.
Okay,
So if it's a county employee, if Fonda's department's working, we have the ability to go clean the bridge.
at any time.
At any time. Well, like this weekend, and I forgot all about it, and I'm sorry I did. Benny,
Yeah.
Mr. Benny from
For
DOT.
Furrowville, yeah.
Right, we talked to him about cleaning up ahead of, on the Special Island Bridge, ahead of the memorial service this weekend. Cause it was a mess on Friday afternoon. There was stuff all over the place. I don't know if somebody had dropped trash off a truck they were delivering to the landfill, but it was all over the place. But they helped clean it up. They really didn't have to do that. They could have said, you have a contractor and he's supposed to be doing it. And he wasn't gonna do it on Friday afternoon, I'll just go ahead and tell you.
It'll be cheaper for us to go with the one man one.
I would think you'd have more service if it was a county, if it was done
And
by the
he'll be
county.
on staff every day. I mean, he'll be available.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, Mr. Chairman, so you're saying one man as in a county employee, or as another, as
Yeah.
a contractor, or as a county employee?
I mean, you got a county employee, he gonna be there every day.
Yeah.
And if something come up, you need it. He there.
Fonda, would you recommend or consider certifying more than one of your employees, so that if one is sick or there's a backup? If this
Yeah.
is the route the board wants me to look at?
Yeah, we're gonna say, I called in trying to get, a class for that type of stuff when we doing debris pickup with just on a normal basis for ourselves. But anyway, to answer your question, yes, I will consider that. And, that it'd be great for that part-time worker. We could put him on, make him full-time, and then right along with Parks and Rec, the other. So it ain't like the bridge gonna be, take two people every day. But we do have one that could keep it clean. So,
But when he does the bridge, you have to have two, somebody to drive across and keep him safe.
yeah, I understand what you're saying, Commissioner, like in between the bridges. one man can handle that.
Yeah.
Yes, on top of the bridge, you're correct. But that, again, that won't be every day, so. But, yes.
Well, can you handle that? I mean, would that be putting too much pressure on you? Can you handle it, or if we get it?
No, sir. I got a man working part-time, asking me every day for wanting to become full-time.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, good.
I'd just like to put my opinion out there. The reason Mr. Myers doing it is because I didn't like the liability of having a county employee out there with semi-trucks blowing by him and everything else. That's always been the issue for me, is employee safety. Number two, I think it needs to be advertised. And see what they come, that's not saying Mr. Myers can't submit a bid too. And see what best deal we can get, but I don't like putting county employees out there on the bridge and people blowing by them 55, 60, 65 miles an hour. To me, that's putting your employees at harm's way on state bridges. These are not county bridges, these are state bridges, and we've had to assume the responsibility of keeping them clean. So that's my opinion.
I agree with Smokey, that's what I was saying, because Mr. Mark has to have a lot of insurance to work that bridge. That's his problem, they went up on the insurance to be safe.
They're gonna go up on that every year. I mean, they do us the same way. But it's the same liability whether he working for the county or they personal. I mean, somehow maybe it's the same thing. I mean, only different it'll be off the county.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's important to go with consistency, and let's put out some bids. It'll give us some up-to-date language. We may see some new techniques we don't know about now, and it'll give us an opportunity to just study this a little bit better. So I would like to make that motion that we put this out on bid.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Byrd, go out for bids on the bridge cleaning.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Master. Any more discussion on it?
Just appreciate Mr. David and the work he's done and invite him to be one of the first bidders.
Yeah,
You
we
bet.
can put the same,
Sure.
but you know, we got that's why we should have been going out bids all the time, cause
Sure.
you can't come in here and say, I want some more money, this not, you gotta let them know this not an automatic, it's not a regular job. I mean, it's not a county job right now. So they can't come in here and say, I got to have more money. We put it out for bid, somebody might can do it cheaper, somebody, it might be more. You never know till you get the bids in. Any more discussion?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I do have something, if it's okay. If this is the way we're gonna go, I would like to add in there that there's gonna have to be times for public safety or emergency, that they're gonna need to be able to come clean that bridge regardless of what their schedule is.
Emergency call out.
Yes, sir.
I think that's a good
That's gonna be
suggestion.
part of it.
And,
If it ain't, cause we're already doing that.
and let me,
There's already been times that county staff has been on the side of the bridge in the current situation, good, bad, or indifferent.
and what is the frequency that we will be asking for to call out? I mean, I'm sorry, the frequency on a normal contract to clean. Right now, he cleans twice a month, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's every other Wednesday or
I thought it was somewhat variable because in the summer he was doing it more frequently than the winter. He slowed down less, but maybe he's on a consistent basis.
Okay.
But it was an X number of times a year that the contract called for, and I thought it was higher frequency in the summer months when there was more traffic.
I think that would be better.
Okay, I'll check the contract.
But you know, it's a gravy job, cause you don't pick up 10 pounds of trash the whole year. I mean, if you,
It has its benefits, but let's don't mislead. One reason we can't use inmates, it has a tremendous liability.
Right.
You might get hit by a car going 50 miles an hour.
I know.
And how
But
long? will the board like the contract for this one? 2 years? A year?
I would say at least two.
At least two? Okay.
What they pay now?
Aaron? You know how much they, how much?
I believe it's 24 per year, 660 per time that it's cleaned.
$660?
But when I get back over there, if it's slightly different, I'll usually.
I think that's right.
All right, any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? That passed unanimous. How long before when that going out?
I'll try and work it as soon as possible.
Okay. Y'all got anything else, Mr. Davis?
That's it.
Keep up the good work.
Okay.
Do they got the, check that and see that. Make sure I got the sign the right one. Good. Okay.
Bonnie, don't forget to send Lori a copy of that. Okay. Please.
Next on the agenda will be Emergency Management Director, Ms. Pam Bonilla.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning.
There's 9 systems out there this morning.
They just about to name all of them out, ain't
Yep,
I seen all of them but the last one.
yeah, I think they're starting, we'll soon be starting the Greek alphabet. Be running out of names of what we got out there now, so. Sally has moved on. We still are gonna get out of feeder bands today, so we're still gonna get some rain, and we are under a tornado watch at this time. I have one action item this morning for the board, requesting the board's approval and signing of a 1-year extension for the contracts for debris monitoring and debris removals. And debris removals are Crowder Gulf, Bergeron Emergency Services, and Sirius Environmental. And then our debris monitoring is Tetra Tech.
So moved.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Mass,
Second.
second by Commissioner Parrish. That'll put us in,
That'll take us through these 9 storms.
okay, we storm ready then. All right, all in favor? All opposed? That passed unanimous. So,
That's all I have for y'all this morning, unless you have
Thank
something
you.
for
You're
me.
gonna be busy.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question if I may.
go ahead.
Ms. Pam, as we're getting FEMA obligations to some of these things we've been waiting for, what's the next step past obligation to getting these things worked on and completed?
Okay, the next would be, handing off the scope of work to the department that handles that, and for them to look at the scope of work and, go out for bid. I told Fonda that Island View has just been obligated, that I will send him the scope of work so he can get with, Commissioner Bolt and, start his process. Now, I talked to Clay Kennedy yesterday about C30 West and the bathrooms in East Point. He told me that they had, let me see what he told me. I'm trying to remember. I wrote it in my report to the state. I had to do quarterly reports yesterday. That he had it surveyed. He's had them surveyed. Now they will go into the phase of planning and design. That's what Clay Kennedy told me. And once they get that, then I guess they'll go out for bids to do the repairs.
Right. So is that something, I guess I'm just trying to find out, is that something that Clay can do? I mean, who's actually running the reimbursement process and all that stuff?
No, that's done by us.
Okay,
But, you know, it is, we pay up front and then we file because these are large projects.
right,
So, basically, it's on what the cost is.
okay,
So as the the invoices come in and the county pays them, then we'll submit them to FEMA.
Okay.
Dan, just wanted to reemphasize some of our conversations this morning that FEMA has approved reimbursement for repair of the Alview Park.
Yes, it's obligated.
Very good. Excellent.
Now it's just getting it done and getting the invoices where we paid for it and getting the reimbursement on it.
Does getting it done mean we need to come up with some bids?
You've got to look at your scope of work now because it's changed. We did mitigation on that, and that's what I was telling Fonda. I believe in their mitigation, they did not go with what I wanted to do, which was the geo-webbing and putting gravel down. They want to go back and put some felt down, put the pavers back, which means all those pavers have to come up. So Fonda will have work for his people. And then they're gonna put the pavers back down, and then they're going to, something similar to grouting it, except they'll use cement. That was their mitigation portion. So we have to, especially the mitigation portion, whatever they designated as for mitigation, that has to be followed to the letter.
What about the lift? What kind of, I know they got on them ramps, they got floaters there or what? Floating docks or what?
That's just strictly, he's talking about, I believe that's just strictly, it's got like that boardwalk, and then you just walk up to it open and go on to the,
Island View did not have any mooring facility or even a boat ramp at Island View, so you just have fishing piers, and at the end, you might have had a kayak launch with the stairway going down, but there was no floating part for any boating at all.
They stubbed.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Good, good news.
yep, we
Very
can start
much so.
moving on those. I'm gonna go back to the office, and I had, our little worker yesterday pulling out all the things that had been obligated. Now, Sterling Environmental Review on, beach walkovers at Alligator Point. Now, that's still sitting within,
Sure.
with the feds.
Yeah, I knew that.
So
Yep.
I'm gonna go through the book, start pulling out stuff, and I will start sending that scope of work to the commissioner that it belongs to in their district.
Okay.
And then get with whichever department head needs to be working with, however the board's gonna decide to do this, let, Clay Kennedy work with them to make sure that their bids go out and that the scope of work is like it's supposed to be.
Now that took away, it's the jank to us. As soon as they fixed it, that storm came through them.
Yes,
2 months later.
Right.
it wasn't long.
They hadn't even inspected it when it come through.
It wasn't finished.
Wasn't finished? Wasn't
No,
quite
sir,
finished?
because I got calls on it. They were holding contractors' money, so it was not finished.
Okay. I know it was pretty close there when, it was looking good, looked it real good.
Pam done the brown grate, and she had just a little more to do. She went ahead and done it, just like a little more to finish it. And in the meantime, the storm come in.
Yeah. Yeah, but it looked it real good.
Oh, it was nice. We get a lot of
Okay.
calls on that.
Well, maybe we'll have better luck this time with it. Anybody, you got anything else?
No, sir.
Thank you, Pam, for your work.
Anybody got anything else from Ms. Payne? Keep up the good work. Next will be Extension Officer Director, Avery Love, Mr. Avery Love.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I don't have anything extra for you today. No action items.
How's your new office coming along? Is it good?
It's nice, but real quiet right now.
I'll bet it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someday maybe we can have an open house.
We
Come
will
see
have
it.
an open house when we get past some of this. Yes, sir.
Be good.
Anybody got anything else for
Thank you for your work,
Mr.
Eric.
Lord?
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Keep up the good work. Next on the agenda will be Ms. Wendy Roundtree, Library Director.
Good morning, Commissioners. Whitney Roundtree, Franklin County Public Library. I have one action item for you today. Last year, the board voted to suspend all volunteer activity at the Carabel branch due to misconduct. I'm here today to ask the board to lift that suspension. Going forward, all volunteers, regardless of experience, will be required to submit a volunteer application. All potential candidates shall be interviewed, selected, and trained by myself, along with Ms. Pam Tullis. Pam is the current Friends of the Library president. She also coordinates our volunteers at the East Point branch. This will ensure consistency across the two branches, and candidates will be screened to ensure that they share the library's mission and vision as stated in our policy. Volunteers who fail to uphold the library's policies and code of conduct will be promptly removed from their volunteer position.
Well, how y'all doing without the volunteers?
You know, as far as operation, we're fine, but I've had some members of the community, 2 board members from our Friends of the Library approached me about special projects, beautification projects, helping out with story time. I think that there's an untapped well of potential at the Carabel Library. I've spent a lot of time there, and I think with the right people on board, it can really become a true resource and something special.
Mr. Chairman, I just think it's very, very good that you put that standard of practice out there that you just read about. I think that's very important.
Thank you, sir.
And I just can't say what a valuable resource volunteers are. I can't measure that in terms of money. And I just want to encourage folks to get back involved in our new library. We have a whole new horizon now in our library system.
True.
And I'm real proud to know that we can do that. So I
I'll make a
make that
motion
motion.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep. So I'll motion that action item.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Burke, second by Commissioner Mathis. Any discussion on that? Well, I want to monitor that volunteer program real close, because that's where we had all our problems that we had started at. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Thank you. Anything else for me regarding my report?
Just Whitney, you and I had an opportunity to be involved with the Wilderness Coast interview of 2 candidates now to be the head of the Wilderness Coast program. And I think we found a wonderful candidate, and I hope when it's appropriate to bring her by so we can meet her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good, thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda be Ms. Tracy Bud.
Guess not paying attention, Commissioner. There she is. Hey, Tracy,
Good morning, Commissioners. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Sorry, I was trying to unmute.
No, that's me. I was a little bit slow on the trigger.
Okay.
So Tracy, if you bear with me for a second, let me kind of start it off here. So Commissioners, you know, we met a week ago today, as a matter of fact. We discussed the CARES Act funding. You know, we discussed more and tried in detail to come to a path forward, especially for the business programs. Well, Tracy's going to tell you here in a few minutes, we have another problem. So the governor's office has yet to even give us an approximate date as to when we'll get that contract for that 1.5 million. Without that contract, Commissioners, this is my opinion, there is no sense in talking anymore about the business loan program, because we don't have the money. We're not going to get funded. And when we do get the contract, there's something else to consider that Tracy pointed out yesterday. How much money is this board willing to put out there and wait to be reimbursed by the state? So if they're taking this long to get us the contract, how long will they take to reimburse us for funding? So all this has to be considered. The good thing, I guess, is that we don't have to discuss it today because we don't have a contract. My opinion. But I'll let Tracy take it from here, and you guys could ask her any questions that you may have. Tracy, I have not I need to give them each a copy of that spreadsheet you sent yesterday. I'm sorry, it's on the copier right now. I'll go get it while you talk, okay?
Okay. Okay, good morning. To follow up on what Ms. Marone was just talking about, so we have been, asking almost daily and throughout the throughout the state of Florida, several counties are in the same boat, and they have all stopped their programs because they've spent over their allocation. So what I had talked about with the Oversight Committee is that we focus on your initial allocation of the $528,930, which Michael will bring you the spend plan that we had talked about as the Oversight Committee. Now, with that, we did not include any of the constitutional officers' requests because those alone were close to $1 million. And we've got the expenses to date that have been actually paid out already, which that's what I gave you last Tuesday, the breakdown of all the offices and how much money they've spent. And it's been, those have already been paid out. And then we've got some of the other items that actually benefit the public. So you're not limiting, yes, the public would like the grant program, and I realize it's out there because I get calls a lot and I get emails and the application. So we gotta tread carefully with that because, it kind of got put out there before we were ready, and now you might have some businesses that are going to be upset, but honestly, it's not of anybody's doing. You don't have the contract. So I'm kind of dealing that with other counties. And we've just explained to the businesses, we're sorry, we've got your application. If and when we get the money, and if and when we can actually, do the applications and produce them, that we can go ahead forward with the business grant. But like Michael had said, I do think that publicly, I even got a call from the newspaper last week, so I feel that it needs to be publicly stated, like, we're on hold, so that people don't get upset that they're not hearing back on that. Some of the line items, though, and I don't know if he's back yet, but some of the line items, so to date, like your board technology, that's already been done. And then we have a couple items, like especially with emergency management, so they're getting a ton of PPE that they just do not have the space for. And I did get approval from the state that we can retrofit the building that's out at the airport. I think it was the old work camp building, that we could do some retrofit to that so that they can actually have a storage facility for that PPE. In addition, and I don't know if Ms. Brunell is still in the room, but when supplies come in, they don't have any way to unload it. So they were actually having to call your Ace Hardware to get them to come help with the forklift. So that's another approved expense, and it'll benefit you for years to come. But especially now with them out at Emergency Management, they don't have the ability to unload one box at a time to get stuff off of the truck. One, the truck needs to move on, and, it just becomes a time. And quite honestly, they're heavy boxes that are being unloaded. So the forklift would benefit on that. The other couple ideas that came up for the public is to do the COVID care bags, which would be supplies for the vulnerable population. And then you guys had talked about the DOH Pledge to Protect program. So I know that Department of Health has been working on that along with John Solomon. So I don't know what that amount looks like yet, but that's one of the things that you as a board would need to determine if that's a program you want to support. How much money do you want to put into that kind of program? The other things are the message boards, which could actually be a public service announcement for any type of activities if they want to advertise testing, or, here's where food supplies are, or whatever, or beaches are closed. However you want to do that, those message boards are available. And actually, once you purchase them in any future event, you can use them because FEMA reimburses those message boards at $11.60 an hour that they're out promoting a public service announcement. You wouldn't be able to get that for the COVID event because you can't get a purchase and the actual time equipment out there, but any future events you could do that. The other thing is information kiosks that would be put throughout the business district, giving, again, a public service announcement, along with hand sanitation stations that can be distributed. And that's obviously doing what CDC says, wash your hands, keep your hands sanitized. And then the other thing that we talked about was, and I know this came up kind of last week, but we didn't really get into it, but the whole food distribution. I know that's very important to you as members of the board of, you know, actually making sure that your community, you know, we got some hard times going on, that, you know, food distribution, you can help those different organizations or one organization, however you guys want to do that, but that is an approvable line item. So with that, we kind of thought, like, let's see where all these numbers come out and where are you with the $528,000. And then after that, if there's other items, we can either add to specific things or take things off, however you guys want to proceed with that. The city of Apalachicola has produced their spreadsheet. I've not seen receipts yet, but I do know that some of their items have been purchased, and it was more or less kind of the same thing you guys were doing, is board technology and then some teleworking options. Does anybody have any, I don't know if you've gotten the sheet yet, and I want to allow you to ask me questions if you want, or I can keep through my list.
Yeah, we need, on the city of Appalachia, I see a number.
I'm sorry, sir?
On the city of Appalachia?
Yes.
I see a number, 33.5, but I don't see nothing wrote down with it. I mean,
That was, I think it was either the last time or the time before. I will tell you exactly what that is.
But
They
you-
had,
well,
okay, so
you ain't got to tell me, I mean, as long as you keeping up with.
oh, yes, sir, because they have computer equipment, audio equipment, video equipment, PPE. They've got some signs out, and then some part-time employees that were called in for COVID-related. So their total is $33,500.
Okay, no problem.
Yes, sir. And I do have that. And I will get receipts from them also. I know they have not been paid anything. That was just what they turned in. I know that the county has not given them any money yet.
Yeah,
And then the other thing, going back to the contract, another thing that's being asked right now is by next Friday, we have to turn in what your expenditures are to date. I don't know if that's clearly just for the quarterly report, or if they're looking at what our county's doing, what number are they at, to determine, do you need the second round? So that's why one of the things as the Oversight Committee we talked about is let's get as close to the number that you have right now to prove that you need additional funding. The other thing is, and I know we had talked a little bit about this last week, but the governor's request that came in, and Mr. Chairman, I think it came to you, of that's due today, talking about all your ordinances and that type of thing. I don't know if they all tie together or if it's just coincidental that all of these things are being asked at the same time that the contracts are being reviewed as to if the funding needs to be, you know, brought out to the other, for the counties for the additional 75%.
We absolutely need it. Absolutely. We need the extra one.
Yes, sir, and that absolutely, and I think we need to prove that you need that, and that was the one thing Pam and I talked about that yesterday. That, you know, we got to show what we've done, and, you know, prove that, you know, fight for that extra amount. So I know, you know, they talk about it all the time, and it's been requested that somebody from the governor's office actually explain what's going on. That has not happened yet, so. You know, I mean, and I think we did talk about this also, that, you know, it's one of those things that it doesn't hurt to, you know, contact your representatives and your senators and get them to, you know, kind of ask the governor's office what's going on. I know that's happening throughout the state also. So, you know, just to kind of, and honestly, just to get an answer. Are we getting it? Are we not getting it? How are we going to get it? And then, you know, the other thing, as Michael brought up, you also have to figure out what kind of money are you willing to put out, because if it is all cost reimbursable and they're going to look at your reimbursement, you know, as you send it in, for an example, with the business grant program, that solidifies that we have to have all of that backup documentation, because they're going to look at that and say, well, this wouldn't pass through Treasury, so we're not going to reimburse this. And that's not what we want. So, you know, one, we need to make the decision, are we going to go forward with the grant program, and how will that look if you have to put the money out ahead of time? So that's pretty much my highlights. I don't know if you want me to go into depth on anything else, or if you want to have questions on anything.
I do. We need to, just say on these business loans, we need to get some kind of confront, they need to tell us when they gonna do that, or we need to get some information, because, you know, some of the businesses, they in bad shape.
Right.
And some of them will be closed by the time they, but like, I mean, it ain't much, but if we can help them out a little bit, that's better than nothing.
Yes, sir, and
If we keep them on another day, one day at a time, you know.
Tracy,
Yes.
if I may, so a couple of things, Commissioner. First, Tracy, so FAC, Associated County, sent out a email yesterday asking
Yes.
commissioners if we in fact, because Commissioner Jones and I talked about this yesterday evening, if we had in fact contacted the governor's
Right.
office, like again, through a survey. So is that now what everybody is doing? Is that what's expected of all the counties? Put pressure directly to the governor's office from the commission, do it through our Senate, our Florida legislative delegation? Is that what we're asking, what we should be doing now?
Well, yes, sir. And I mean, and I know, like, some of the other counties, I know one of my counties has actually had a conference call with FAC and the small counties. And, you know, they're really fighting to assist all you guys, but it's going to take more than them. Okay. And like I said, I wish I had that crystal ball, because no one knows why they're holding it up. We don't know if there's other expenses that are coming up that they're trying to supplant, or the answer's just not coming. And honestly, with emergency management at the state level, you know, it's every time we're talking to the governor's office. Well, that's good, but like, these talks have been going on for 6 weeks, because it was told, you know, back when these contracts came that second week in June, they said you will have the second round of contracts within 2 weeks. So, you know, now we're mid-September and we still haven't seen anything.
That's correct.
So it's like, you know, are they planning to not give it to you? You know, even though your first contract states, here's your contract for your initial 25% allocation, there is nothing there that says you have to get, like, you are entitled to get the whole 100%. It was just, you know, and I wish I knew, and we call and email and talk to them, and they just don't have the answers. So I know when FAC sent that out yesterday, you know, it was a simple yes or no, and kind of if it's no, then you need to do that. And that's why I stated, you know, you might want to call, like, almost, you know, bombard them of, you know, what's happening, and because at some point they've got to give an answer, whether good or bad, at least get an answer.
Okay. Okay, we'll do that. I'll ask the board here. I'll ask the chairman to ask the commissioners for a motion to send a letter to the governor, copy it to all our senators and representatives. I guess that's the way to go.
And I think it'd be best if we get the surrounding counties to go along with us.
Yes.
You know, we team up on it.
I'll copy it to the chairman of each of the county commissions around us, sir. I sure will.
I know Calhoun is doing that.
Cause you know, a lot of the state workers working from home, and you ain't gonna get just not gonna get the work you got if they're in the office. That might be the problem. I don't know.
And Tracy's.
But these people steady. I mean, every day you lose, if they watch out, the time limit will be up, and won't nothing be spent.
Yeah, you're right, sir.
Won't nothing be spent, and people losing in their businesses every day.
It's like a recipe for failure, basically.
Yeah.
The longer they keep that contract.
And really, the state should have been doing it, but they push it down and then put us on hold. That's not right.
And so I'll make that motion that we compose that letter to the governor.
Okay, will you add in about getting with the other counties?
Yes, yeah, please, yeah, let's get our surrounding sister counties together on that as well. And shouldn't we carbon copy that letter to Marco Rubio, since this is some federal monies? Maybe he's kind of wondering what's happening too?
Yeah, our federal
Do that?
delegate.
Okay, we'll add that to the motion.
Both the state and federal legislative
yes,
delegation.
sure.
Yeah.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by
thank you.
Commissioner Burke, second by Commissioner Mathis. Any more discussion on it?
Mr. Chairman, I got a question.
Go ahead.
If we're gonna include counties, can we include all the counties in the ARPC region? There's 9 counties.
That'd be
We're all-
good, yeah.
We're all together, so we should all be together.
Okay,
Yes.
the more the better.
There you go.
Anybody,
That's
the
good.
more the better.
Hey, to sound this way though, if we're gonna put stuff in the bucket, it might as well send to small county coalition too.
Right.
FAC,
Everybody.
So, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if we,
Sure, it's good that Franklin County is initiating this letter.
if we lose, I mean, if we work it, but don't, we try.
You
All
put
right.
Chris Dooley to work, earn his money.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll rewatch it. So, and just, oh, I'm sorry, after you vote on this, I just wanna update you on the other issue that Tracy brought up.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
And Commissioners and Tracy, yeah, Courtney did send all of the ordinances, the resolution. She uploaded that to the system from last week.
Okay,
the
good.
Portal, so yeah, that was done last week.
Tracy, do you need some just broad guidance on the spending of this $355,000 in these categories?
Yes,
now?
sir.
You do not?
No, yes, sir, I
You
do.
do, that's what I thought. You can do the math, but we can give you the guidance right now.
Yes, that'd be great.
Go ahead.
Clerks, Marsha Johnson, I just want to plead with the board to reconsider mine and the court's request, because we, like you, we're having to have court remotely. My office, I mean, there's no way in the world we could have prepared for coronavirus with laptops and things like that, the internet, the bandwidth. The few things I asked for and the courts asked for is so that we can continue our role as critical, essential workers. My office never closed during this pandemic. We stayed open in spite of having people having to be quarantined. We worked, we have done the county's payroll. Your workers have never went without getting paid. This CARES Act, you're putting more work on my clerks to have to do. We need these laptops, this bandwidth, the things that we need so that we can continue to be that critical, essential worker. So I didn't ask for very much. I want to say my total was less than 20,000. So 20,000 out of 528 is not a whole lot of money to ask. And I don't know what the court's amount was they asked for, but these are things that we need to be able to continue to work on a daily basis, not extras. It's not information. It's so that we can be working, and if we have to work from home, we would have a capability to do that in the future. So I would ask y'all just please reconsider my request and the request made by the court system. And I'd be glad to answer any questions on that.
Mr. Chairman, if I may. Tracy, when we were talking about this, I thought the only thing that we said wasn't reimbursable was loss of revenue.
Exactly. So, and Ms. Marshall, I have yours in front of me. The only thing that you did put was that loss of revenue, which is $82,247, that was not eligible. And then you had the PPE for staff. You had laptops. So your laptops purchased $4,879. The internet connection $1,157. The bandwidth $1,500. And then I don't think I have a number on PPE. Nope, I do. $500.
Yeah, that's correct. And I'm not asking for the loss of revenue because at the last meeting, I was told that that was ineligible.
For now.
Then Tracy, you have the court system's request too. That, yeah, I don't have that with me.
Yes, ma'am. And with theirs, and Commissioners, I had broken this down at our last meeting. They had laptops for telework, increased bandwidth, and then all of the other things they asked for was really courthouse overall. It was the automatic hand sanitizer stations, the body temp kiosks, more frequently cleaning of the courthouse, the fog machines, the automatic doors, and then the PPE for courthouse employees. And again, we were not trying to single out and not have any constitutional officers. It was, we just kind of went through as a committee and said, you know, let's start here and then leave it up to the board. So that none of this is set in stone, and you could move all this money around. The only thing that's been purchased to date are the expenses to date. That's already been done, and so is your boardroom technology. Those are the only two line items. Oh, and I'm sorry, my management. Those are things that have already been expended.
Tracy, what would be the total of the clerks and then the total of the courts without the
Okay.
loss of revenue?
Let me add that up real quick.
And board, I would let you know too, I mean, for the laptops, the bandwidth, all the things that I asked for, I actually got quotes, true quotes. And I knew there would be a deadline for this money to be spent and be in place, so I've told everybody that I had to be able to get these things in place before December, and I was told that could happen.
How many more constitution officers you got messed up? I mean, denied?
With
All of them?
request, everyone except for Heather, because she has her own pot of money. Supervisors of elections have their own pot of money.
So does the school.
So does.
School.
Oh, I'm sorry, Scott, yeah, the school district, I'm sorry, yeah. So, but I'm hoping, Tracy, that, the supervisor, the tax collector and the property appraiser, they had requests. I don't think they've purchased anything as yet, correct?
Correct, and at least that I have not heard. And the tax collector and the property appraiser, those two systems were the data dump and make all of their information on the cloud. And so those, one for the tax collector was $286,000, and then the property appraiser was $230,000.
Yeah.
And just to recap, Ms. Marcia, $55,000 roughly. I just did some rough numbers for the court, and that was all of those systems that, with the automatic doors and all of that. And then yours is about $8,000. So that's the total for the two of your requests. So probably about $65,000 to be safe would be the two requests for the court and the clerk.
I want a motion for that to be paid. I mean, in this here. I want a motion that be in here.
Mr. Chairman,
She said,
I'm confused by this.
wait a minute now.
I'm confused about the whole process. I ain't talking about you.
Oh,
I'm
but
talking
she
about
said,
I'm talking about the process.
if I heard Ms. Johnson right, she said this got something to do with the payroll.
Yep.
She paying people, and I want the people to get paid, and I want to get paid too.
And I didn't even ask for a laptop for every one of my employees. I tried to ask them by division, because I hope I'll always have somebody at work. But, if we couldn't, I wanted to have at least a laptop available, for each division in my office. Yeah. And the courts, I don't know if you would want to, maybe you could maybe take away the doors and something that's real expensive right now and hope, later on. But I would say that on the court side, the most important things too would be the
bandwidth,
the laptops,
Yeah.
the things to be able to hold court.
Yeah.
I need things, but the judges and their people also need things on their side that's
to keep
separate
them
from
safe.
my office. But maybe the automatic doors and some of that kind of stuff is a good wish list, but
Yeah.
but we need to, we're in phase 2 where we're trying to have some in-person court, and we actually had a non-jury trial last week, because you could do that with less people being present, But I've already been, contacted about the possibility of jury trials coming up before the end of the year.
So can you give us a breakdown and then we do that?
Well, I would
With a
just
motion.
ask today that you approve my request on everything but the revenue. And the courts, maybe everything, Tracy, the doors, that was the biggest expense on the court side was automatic doors.
Actually, yes. So it looks like the doors run about $4,200 a piece. And then the other thing was purchasing like the fogger decontamination. That was $20,000. The contract cleaning was $13,000. So if you want to, like if we're just looking at the laptops and the bandwidth, we've got 2,000, like less than $5,000. It's like $4,200.
Well, let me ask you, I want to ask a question on this. Now, they don't want to buy a Falcon? That what she's saying?
If you just tell me how it was broke down, Chairman.
But
Yeah,
if a fog.
they included
what
the
if somebody
fogging.
come in there with cold, in the cold, and you find out, ain't you got fog that place?
And I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're asking about, Commissioner?
I'm asking, she said something about a fog, like, the people came in here and they had to spray the coat out.
We have foggers. Pam already ordered some for the
Oh,
county.
okay,
Yeah,
we already got some.
Yeah, I know there was a discussion about a forklift. I'm not sure if that's the same thing or I missed the discussion.
He's talking about the court had asked for the fogging.
The fog machine,
So
yes,
I think
ma'am.
we could, if you deleted that and the doors right now from the court, maybe the court would be happy with getting everything else needed to hold remote court.
Okay, but we can use the one she ordered.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause
Three.
I have
Right.
3 for the courthouse, all the court,
All
all
the
the
pro-
county buildings that we manage, yes.
We got enough
The
for
2
everything.
courthouses, the state attorney, yes. We have
So
3
we took
foggers.
care.
We have the chemical, we have the mask, we have everything.
So
Well, long as we
Tracy,
took
what
care-
would be the amount for the court without the automatic doors being done and the fogging equipment?
Okay, so they have 500 for PPE. They've got the bandwidth at 1,250. They've got the laptop, webcam, and microphone for 2,000 a piece, but they only have one right here. And then they have the body temp kiosk at 2,400 and the hand sanitizer station at 1,365. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably about $7,200.
But, Mark, let me ask a question, Mark. Shouldn't we today focus more on the technology stuff and things like the PPE, the hand sanitizer stations? Let's see what we have already and then see if we could fill the gap with that.
If we can, like I say, I know with us having jury trials maybe coming up before the end, those are the kind of things I think the court will want to make sure we had in place.
And we will need a second, I think we actually need 3 of those body temperature checks. We have 1 now. I
Right.
think we need 2 more than
So
that.
for the little amount of money, I would just ask if you approve all what my request, less the loss of revenue, because I realize you can't do that. And then the court's computer and the PPE, even if it's a less amount.
And don't all of them qualify? If they qualify, I think we should use them.
But let me say this to you, Mr. Chairman.
They were
and-
wanting temperature machines to take temperatures and more hand sanitizer stations and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think it's mass.
Let me say this, because I hear what Commissioner Jones is saying. I think the intent this morning was to kind of look at, to say how much money we have on hand, and what do you want to do with that money that we have on hand? Kind of Commissioner Bull kind of alluded to that she needs direction from the board. I'm not sure that anybody was actually being disqualified or not funded. So.
Right.
I think that's the direction Tracy's looking for. So what the clerk is asking for is partly what Tracy's asking for. What do you want to spend the money on, the money that you have on hand right now, what do you want to spend it on? Because it's like a double-edged sword. I know you want to hold some in reserve in case, but by the same token, the state is probably looking at you and saying, well, if they're not spending what they have, why would we give them more money? You guys see what I'm saying? So, yeah, we and that's the direction Tracy's looking for. Now, what do you want to spend money on? Do you want her to look at the other constitutional officers? I guess it's where you were heading, Chairman Lockley, and see what we could spend it on there, what minimum amount we could buy, just like what the clerk is doing. She's narrowing down her list and say, okay, only get this, I need this right now. The rest could wait until we will get the 1.5 million.
Well, depend on stuff we need. If we need stuff, get it.
Well,
That's what the money there. I mean, I don't want to double dip. If we got some of the stuff, let's use that till we give out. But if we, hey, you got different departments. What I'm looking at here now, you got different departments with different things. But if you got a department over here, and you got coke going on here, and they need this here, they need it. it's sitting over there. It ain't doing no coat no good.
I hear you.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, you need it right, you need the stuff.
but we have to think beyond the court and the clerk. What, I'm asking.
I'm talking about all the rest of, that go for all the different departments. If they need stuff too.
So, for instance, suppose somebody says they want a laptop or tablet for every employee that they have, which
They
is
don't
different.
need that.
See, my point is to the board is that what, we have to kind of set the standards, because what one department thinks they need and what we could afford to give them is two different things.
Right.
That's where
What
I'm heading,
saying.
so.
I'm saying get the need, not the wants.
It depends on who's looking at it, what the need and what the want is, sir. That's the only point I'm trying to get across to the board.
It's a difference in need and want.
Yes, and wish for,
And wish.
yes.
I mean, you know, if they need it,
So-
I'm down with them.
And I'm gonna sit down, I'm just gonna tell you that what I asked for are needs.
Yes.
And what I asked for the court side is needs, for us to be able to operate. So, if y'all have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them as
So
you go
do you
forward.
want Tracy and I to do the same thing here with your tax collector? Do you want us to do the same thing with your property appraiser? With the
I
county?
would like to see them come in and tell us like she did.
Okay, there we go.
Wouldn't that be better?
That would be good. Mr. Chairman, let me clarify what I'm saying I'm confused about. I
Okay.
thought last Tuesday when we had this discussion,
Uh-huh,
we had, as a board, told Ms. Busby to tell us what is not gonna be an allowable expense and work from there.
mm-hmm,
I didn't know that it was gonna turn into this board was gonna start telling, we wanna spend money here, we wanna spend money there, we wanna spend, you know. I didn't understand that it was gonna come our responsibility of how it's all gonna be spent. She was gonna tell us whether it was allowable expense or not, and we're
Uh-huh.
gonna work backwards from there. That's what I understood. So that's why I'm confused.
yeah, her biggest point today to you was, and Tracy, correct me, stop me when I'm wrong, is that, yes, last week we had the understanding that, okay, we would get this $1.5 million contract, and we rolling straight ahead. Now, it's past 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and still no contract, no sense from the governor's office that we're not getting access to this other 1.5 million. So she's like, Michael, we probably need to kind of redirect how we move forward, and that probably is what is causing the message from last Tuesday is definitely different from the message today, Commissioner.
Well,
That's,
maybe
that's where the
she need-
confusion is.
That's fair.
Yes.
Well, maybe she don't need to meet with us, she need to meet with Ms. Busby. They need to meet with
That's what I was asking you, sir. That's exactly
and
right.
let her tell them. I
That's
mean,
right.
And then they tell us, and if
Yeah.
it get to a problem, then we jump in.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
You have an oversight
I don't
committee,
know.
Working
and
down to the
maybe
lowest
each
cost
constitutional officer needs to meet with the oversight committee and say, hey, this is my request, and then we kind of filter out, okay, here's what's a need, here's what you would like to have, you know, and we do that, and we bring that back to the board.
Right.
That's
Is
right.
that what you're asking for?
I
Yes.
think that's what needs to happen.
Okay, just,
Yeah, I mean, I ain't trying to handle no more, I don't want no more work on me. I don't know nothing about it. But it's like this, if Ms. Busby get with the Constitution officers, just like, I didn't know this was going on until Mr. Johnson got up there and told us, you know, the situation. Okay, well, everybody's situation probably is different. I'm quite sure.
mhm.
So, we not the ones who really tell them yeah, nay. It's Ms. Bud. So they need to sit down, I guess, with Ms. Bud. And then let us know what's going on. If we got a problem, y'all, you know, whoever.
So, what I would like is, and I'm sure Tracy, if you want something else, you let me know. Basically, two motions, what I'm looking for, which is more direction. One, that we officially put the business loan, nonprofit loan grant program, grant program on hold until we get the contract for the 1.5 million.
That's right.
That's one thing. The second thing is that that you direct the oversight committee to meet with all, Tracy, when you want to say Ms. Busby, to meet with all constitutional officers and come up with a needs list that will fit into this budget of the money we have access to right now, the cash we have in the bank at this moment.
And that amount is $355,000.
That could change based on this list that's in front of you, but yes,
Yep.
sir. We would even look over this list one more time,
That's right.
if that's what you're,
I
so
mean,
that's,
ain't no need to really, ain't no need to know. Everybody can just get what you need, not everything they want right now. You ain't got but a little bit of money. When the rest of the money come, if they need the other stuff,
Yes, sir.
they can get it. I mean, but now you just don't,
Yes.
like, what, the necessity. That's what I see. I mean, but I'm just one board member. What about y'all?
I would just say one more thing, if I may, Mr. Chairman, and we ought to have some planning, some vision for potentially how we'll use this extra 1.5 million if it comes in as part of this oversight committee.
Yeah, the plan is this, we got to know how to use it. I don't know how to use it. Ms. Bud forgot to tell us what they can get. I guess you can sit down and talk to her and tell her the do's and the don'ts.
Yeah.
I don't know the do's and don'ts.
Mr. Chairman, until we get it, we don't know what stipulation is gonna be on it anyway.
Right.
Or how it's gonna be worded.
Yeah.
Hey, Commissioner,
The thing, it changes every day, 2 times a day. Go ahead.
I'd like to make a couple comments. When the court system is talking about a fogging machine, or we have that.
Yes, sir.
Will that be utilized for the court?
Yes, sir.
So we don't need to buy another one of those?
Yes, sir.
On the other hand, these doors is to keep people from going in and out of that courthouse, putting their hands on everything, and you coming behind them, putting your hand on it. If they got COVID, you're automatically passing this stuff.
True.
That's why they want automatic door opening, to keep everybody from commingling and contamination. I kinda like that. Now, we talk about doors, we're only talking about the main entrance on the back and the one here on the side. I don't know, cause I haven't seen the application. We don't use the front, period, and we don't use the other side. So, you're only talking about 2 sets of doors, which one is downstairs on the back, and one where your clerks and all come back and forth to this courthouse here, to the annex. I don't have no problem with that. I think that's a good idea. I think it'd be an improvement at the courthouse, but it also keeps you from cross-contamination. Cause all the public comes in and out of this courthouse, and God knows who's got what. And then you come right behind them and grab that same door handle to get in, now, and wipe your nose, now you got it. So I don't have no problem with the doors. And the bandwidth and these other things courts need. The $20,000, sanitizer, we don't need because we already got some, correct? So as far as I'm concerned on Ms. Johnson's request, I'm good with what she's requested, the minimum that she needs to keep the essential office open. And I'm good with those doors for the courthouse, for the court side of it, for those reasons previously stated. And that's my opinion on Ms. Johnson's request.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to the automatic doors, that also fulfills a need we needed to do to help the handicapped people come in and out of here. So you've got a double opportunity here to do that right now.
True.
Okay.
And I hate to put undue pressure on the board, but we were supposed to be doing Board of Adjustments at 10 o'clock. I do apologize for that, so.
Okay, well, let's get a motion on what we're gonna do.
And one more issue, Mr. Chairman, if I might. On these message boards, that's kind of expensive. Has that been bid out, Ms. Tracy?
That is actually a state term contract price, but yes, we can bid that out.
I think we need 4 of those. One at each end of the county, one at Highway 65 as it comes into the county, and one going to the island. Whether we have tropical storms, whether we're trying to re-enter into this county after a tropical storm. So I think we need 4 of those.
Okay.
Board comments on that?
Can we make it 5? You also have Highway 67.
Yeah.
Make it 5, Ms. Tracy, make it 5 on that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I would support that.
And I'll make.
And that price is those large ones. You know, you have the option of getting smaller ones, and also you have the option, there's a ton of them that are used, like from United Rentals and all those places, and they're in great shape, but this is for a brand new large one. So I can get different prices and all, you know, for all of the different things and get that to you.
I'm not into used stuff. We're gonna use
Okay.
it right. We're gonna use it right here. And I
Gotcha.
wanna get as many years as we can out of them. I don't wanna get a used
Yes,
one
sir.
2 years from now, it's tore up, and now we gotta go to maintenance and all that. I mean,
Yes, sir.
to me, it'd be best just to start new, and we can use these things for tropical storms, hurricanes, a lot of different issues, COVID messages, you know, I mean, so.
Get them big ones, cause I'm old, I can't read them little.
That's what she's saying.
Get the big ones to see, huh?
That's exactly what she's saying.
Those are the only 2 comments I have.
We need 6 of them.
Where's that one?
And if I could address Commissioner Jones, I think you asked about the eligible and ineligible. Last Tuesday, I had sent everybody a list of to date what we had gotten. The only ineligible proposed things that came in from constitutional officers were the CAD computer software from the sheriff, and then those 30 body cam chargers. Just, I don't know how they charged them before. So that, and then the inmate clothing and bedding, like those are the 3 ones that like we're definitely like that Treasury would not approve that.
Okay.
Everything else though that came in from the tax collectors, I've got approval from the state. Everything's approved expense. It's just it's more than the money you currently have.
Okay, yeah, the reason I was saying I was confused is I was understanding that you told us what was ineligible and everything else was eligible and it was gonna be done. That's where I was misunderstanding.
But the money,
Right.
the money
But
changed
it's-
that
I
story.
understand it's a money issue now, but this when we
Right.
first started talking about it, that's why I was misunderstanding what was going on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, can we start making the motion? We got a motion on the floor now.
No, I don't think I've actually made
No,
the
not
motion,
yet.
but.
What are these information kiosks, Ms. Tracy?
That is, they're actually, I'm trying to think of an example, you know, like at the airport where different information can be displayed talking about, it could either be closures or it's kind of the same thing as the message board, but they're at the business district of where testing facilities are. It can give public service announcements type information. And again, this is another item that you could use in the future. So that was one thing that I guess emergency management had looked into purchasing, and it's kind of a constant public service announcement type board.
Are they electronic, Tracy? Are they electronic like the message boards are? Electronic sign? Or is it where you hold like pamphlets and stuff like that? Oh, I'm sorry, Pam is coming to explain.
Okay.
They're just like what you've seen that the health department's got out. That way you take your computer, you don't have to be there. It's all data-based. I can sit in my office and put out that information and it'll go directly to that message board.
So is it similar to like what they've got coming on the island right now with reminding people about double red flags, don't go in the water? It's
I'm
just
sorry,
a-
Commissioner,
just
I've
electronic
not
sign.
been to the, no, these will be like, have you seen the one that the health departments, they moving them around, they're in the stores? They
Oh,
move
like
that.
inside of a store.
Yeah, they move them around, and that way is, when you walk into
Yeah,
the
I've seen
IGA
that.
over in Carabel, there's a big kiosk there telling you, reminding you once again to make sure you wash your hands after you leave the store. It reminds you that COVID.
I've
you
never
know,
seen one. Cool.
but you could use it after this with having them out in the community, say after a storm. We could put on there the days that you know, what you needed to do as far as your trash or any kind of public service information
So
after
they're a
COVID's gone.
freestanding board that actually
Yes,
sits
sir.
on the ground.
Yes, sir. You could put one right inside this courthouse right here. So if anybody came in here, they're reminded constantly about COVID. And then after this, and you have a disaster, that's another place for somebody to come get information.
I think the only difficult thing is knowing if you are gonna get any, how many you would actually need or use.
That would be something we would have to sit down and decide. The
Same
health
thing with
department
the-
has 2 already.
Right, same thing with the hand sanitization stations. You know, because if you start buying 5 or 6, well, you're gonna wish you had 10 before it's over with, and 12's too many, you know, what I mean, it's a lot to think about.
Sanitize, Mr. Chairman, sanitizer stations, I'm wondering who's gonna monitor, who's gonna keep somebody from going up there and taking all the sanitizer?
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't something you can just throw out there and think it's gonna stay there from now on. If there ain't somebody there physically or within a business or something. To
That's,
just put them across the county, just out on the side of the road or whatever, I mean, I don't know what the plan is,
Yeah.
but I just don't see them functioning the way they should.
the plan was, Commissioner, to put them on, in the towns, at businesses. So, say, all right, you're over at East Point and you're gonna go in, the Red Top's that store? The grocery store there, or the post office? You put one there. That way, when they walk up there, they can do their hands. When they come out, they can do they can wash their hands. Not just sporadically put outside the road. Put at a place, outside of a place of a business along the street, so as people pass, they can get their hands cleaned.
That ain't a
It-
good
that's-
idea. 'Cause if you,
Mr. Chairman.
I don't like that idea, 'cause if you put it one place and
Gotta put it everywhere.
somebody gonna go to raise his hand, they put this here and they ain't got down here. If you ain't got enough for all the places,
You're supposed to keep some yourself. It's kind of a personal responsibility.
I know.
Put a little bottle in your pocket.
But if you know, where the IGA got one, the Red Rabbit ain't got down, you know, that's gonna cause a problem. It might not, I don't know, but I just think out the box.
Yeah, and Mr. Chairman, when we're talking about this stuff, I don't know a dollar amount, but I would like this, for this board to consider at least putting 10,000 on this line item for food distribution, not for one entity, but
Oh.
because of everything that's going on now, we already have stuff that's funded out of our budget, but this is above and beyond right now, so maybe we could help all the ones and increase their money a little bit, because it's COVID related. The response you're having with people that are missing work because of quarantine, or their kids get quarantined from school because they're around somebody. You know, it's just, I think that would be a good place to put some money in food distribution.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion then that we do the following, that this oversight committee be developed and to take and give guidance right now for the monies we have available for spending, and to use as a guide for that committee the notes that the clerk has been taking for all these excellent suggestions that we have had here today. And
Wouldn't that, I ain't.
What are you
wait,
thinking?
finish it. But wouldn't that kinda put things on hold a little further?
what now?
If it would, put it in, on pause, but
I mean, will that delay further down?
I don't think it would delay it. We
I mean,
know
we-
we have this money now. We need to move on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, but this, what, they got the formal committee and meet?
no, we have an oversight committee.
You already got
There-
something going, don't you?
There is an oversight committee, Commissioner
Oh,
Bolt, you
okay.
understand that, right? Are you saying to form one, or you know that
No,
there
I
is
didn't know
one?
we had an oversight committee.
Yes, sir, it's Tracy, myself,
Okay,
and
so that
Pat.
committee is activated now, and that's the action item I'm making the motion
So,
to charge
yeah,
them for.
well, that's what we talked about earlier, so basically, the oversight committee are now gonna take the notes from this thing.
Yep.
And then we're gonna meet with all the constitution, we're gonna come back
That's right.
with a spending plan, if that's what you wanna call it.
That's a good
Trying to
word.
use as much as the money as possible, so that the state understands that we need more.
Yes.
How long that gonna take?
That's, Tracy, I would say next week, no?
'Cause you know.
Well, we meet tomorrow, so I can hash this out today, have it for the oversight committee tomorrow, and then we can email it to the commissioners tomorrow evening or first thing Thursday morning.
Now, we got to spend it, they claiming we need to spend the money, right?
You got 3 months.
Got 3 months left.
Yes, sir, December. Has to be spent by December.
Yep.
Okay. What up?
Here's the
I
thing,
guess
Mr. Chairman. Here-
we want it done right, but I don't want nothing holding us up.
Like I said earlier, Commissioners, here's the issue. The issue is we're fighting for our other 1.5 million. We have this 528, I'm not sure what the number is, somewhere around there right now. So we need to come up with a plan to commit this 528 right now, not in December, right now.
That's what I'm saying.
It's because the state is gonna ask Tracy here, or ask the county, and we're gonna Tracy say, how have you spent the 25% we've given you. And what we're worried about, Tracy and I, is that if we haven't committed and haven't on paper a spending plan to spend this 528, whatever it is, that they're gonna say, they haven't spent that, they don't need any more money.
And I don't want it, y'all sending it up to the last day, you know, let's do what we got to do and get it on over with.
I think that's the motion I was asking for earlier, is to let the oversight committee take the notes from what we talked about today, talk to each constitutional officer, get the needs list, and come with a breakdown to this board saying, hey, this is how we're going to spend this money right here, right now, ASAP. That's
But
the
we
motion I was
need-
asking the board to approve.
We need this done, long as it ain't holding up nothing. What y'all think?
Oh, I don't
I'm
think
asking the
so.
board, huh?
Mr. Chairman, I agree with Michael. We need to show, but we need to show that we're spending this money wisely and prudently. And then that's gonna determine whether we get the other part or we don't.
Right.
If we waste the money and do a bunch of stuff that is in non-compliance, then we're subject not to get the other 75%. I
And
think
payback.
what they've done is give us 25% to see, can the counties handle it in the right fashion and spend the money on eligible, expenditures? And they also wanna know what you're gonna do with this other 75%. They're looking for a spending plan for that also. And that's the reason we've been trying to create the spending plan, you know, we've been talking about this for a month and a half, 2 months now, is creating a spending plan. I'm with, the chairman about, you know, it's time for us to create that spending plan for this 25% and get that done, but I don't mind throwing the court system a bone, and, cause I think that's a wise thing to do. We gotta spend the money wisely and prudently to show the state that we can handle this. And I'm also with the chairman that we need to get going on it, so. I'm gonna make the motion that Mr. Morone and the Oversight Committee get together and consider what the board has talked about here today, along with, Commissioner Jones and the $10,000 for the food distribution, not to one entity, but to be split up amongst different applicants. And what we've also talked about, the message boards, and we've talked about, the court system and Ms. Johnson's, very minimal request. It's not $200,000 or $300,000 or $400,000 like some of the other constitutionals at this time. I think we need to move forward with that. I'm gonna make that in the form of a motion that the Oversight Committee meet, consider that, and try to get the ball, figured out, and keep the commission informed of where we're going, where we're at, what the total cost is so far, and move forward.
Have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Perry,
Second.
second by Commissioner Jones and Commissioner.
Commissioners, Mr. Chairman, I don't mind, would you ask commissioners, would they also amend to say that officially we're putting the business grant program on hold until we get the other 1.5 million?
I'll amend the motion.
I got a motion amendment to put the grant on, for businesses on hold for right now. And the second been amended by two. And, you know, most of these things, it's getting us started, and most of them gonna need additional work with them. I mean, it's gonna cost more. We're not doing, some of them we're not doing entire. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, cause they asking for more than one. Okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Are we
Mr.
good,
Chairman.
Tracy? Are we good now?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, there's one more point, though. We do need a spending plan.
We do.
For this 1.5 million.
Yeah.
That we should be making a motion for now. At least we'll be prepared, not to slow down this first one. but
I
while
would
the
say
commi-
if you would give the Oversight Committee a chance to deal
Did
with
you
the
wanna do this one
528,
first?
and then let's come back and discuss the 1.5.
Okay.
You
That
said,
would be in our next commission meeting then?
Yes.
Okay.
You
All right,
good
we
with
can
that?
do
If you're
that.
okay with that, sir.
Okay. Will you put that on your agenda?
I will.
All right.
you good with that?
Yes, sir. That's cool. Thank you.
Let's take 5, let y'all set up for the,
Yeah.
y'all got to set up for board adjustment?
Yes, sir. Board of Adjustment, P and Z. Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, everyone online, hold on. We're taking a break for
Newsflash, Franklin County, it's census time. Everyone's counted. I'm Linda Gibson, and I count.
Although our senior centers and libraries are closed temporarily because of COVID-19, Linda Gibson and her friends want to make sure everyone in Franklin County responds to the census.
Everyone counts. Please be counted. My name is Gladys Gatlin.
If you or someone you know has a tablet or laptop, now you can go to my2020census.gov and put in your street address to be able to complete the census. It's now easier than ever. That's my2020census.gov.
Everyone counts. So everyone in Franklin County, please do the census. My name is Sherilyn Clark, and I count.
Fisherman's Choice Bait and Tackle has all you need for your day of fishing. They have fresh and saltwater bait, an unmatched selection of mirror lures, and a wide selection of Berkley Gulp, plus fresh and live bait and all the rigs and tackle you need for a great day of fishing, including brands like Penn and Shimano. They are also the only bait and tackle shop in Franklin County where you can get a fishing license. And don't miss their wide selection of marine supplies, coolers, and more. Fisherman's Choice is located at 330 Highway 98 in East Point. Our beautiful piece of paradise, please make sure you visit our local shops, restaurants, galleries, and take some time to experience something different and take a fishing trip or tour with one of our experienced guides. Our neighbors and their businesses are the heartbeat of our community. Thank you for visiting, and remember to shop local, eat local, and fish local. This message is brought to you by the Apalachicola Bay Chamber of Commerce. Tune in to Forgotten Coast TV on Mediacom, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV and watch Forgotten Coast Cooking with Kathy Corfanti. Kathy invites you into her home to learn how to cook some of her favorite recipes. She will also tell you funny stories about her life and preparing meals. You'll also see special guest appearances by her friends and local chefs. It's Forgotten Coast Cooking with Kathy Corfanti only on Forgotten Coast TV. James Bay Golf Resort is an award-winning Audubon Sanctuary golf course located off Highway 98 just east of Carabel. It is one of less than 60 Audubon golf courses in the world. St. James Bay Golf Resort was designed by Robert W. Walker in conjunction with Audubon International and features 14 lakes, well-manicured tee boxes and fairways, and extraordinary Tiff Eagle Bermuda greens. Club memberships are available to suit every need, but the course is also open to the public. Guests staying at our resort have access to all amenities like the heated pool, tennis courts, and workout facilities. Plus, they will receive a 10% discount in the pro shop, restaurant, and lodging. There is a daily happy hour at the Crooked River Grill from 2 to 7 with drink and appetizer specials. The Crooked River Grill features the best in Southern coastal comfort cuisine with an amazing brunch buffet every Sunday from 10 until 2 and lunch buffets every Tuesday and Thursday. There's also a prime rib special every Saturday night and weekly games like bingo and trivia on Tuesday and Thursday nights. Host your party on the beautiful patio and let us take care of everything. Our venue at St. James offers a perfect meeting space for groups as well as a banquet place for wedding events. We also have beautifully appointed spacious luxury condos available for long-term or short-term rentals. All of the units overlook the golf course and have a private pool. For more information and tee times, visit stjamesbay.com. Give us a call at 850-697-9606 or like us on Facebook.
Come inside and check us out. We have something for everyone. Hello, welcome to Apalachicola Chocolate and Coffee Company. From our handmade chocolates, fudges, delicious old-fashioned caramel, pies, cookies, including the largest Greek wedding and macaroons you've ever seen. We also make the Italian-style ice cream called gelato, which is adult-tested and kid-approved. We have a full menu coffee bar, from lattes and cappuccinos to some of our signature drinks, such as our affogatos and black bottom coffees. And don't forget about the famous crafted coffee blend. We also roast our coffee beans on site, so it's super fresh. Don't like coffee? We also have teas and lemonade. If you're hungry, we serve breakfast sandwiches on our homemade bread, or we have New York water bagels. Or try the biscuits and gravy that are to die for. We also have lunch sandwiches and soups. We do carry some gluten-free and vegan options as well. Hear what some locals have to say.
I love the biscuits and gravy.
You know something? The coffee here is great.
I love the ice cream of the chocolate company.
So come check us out and stay a while. In here, it's just like Cheers, where everybody knows your name. Oh, hey, Dan.
Boulder County Commission is now back in session. Next on the agenda will be the planning and zoning and
Board of Adjustment.
Board of Adjustment. Which one first?
Board of Adjustments.
Board of Adjustment will be first.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Next, Miss Amy Kelly.
Good morning. I'm Amy Kelly. We're going to talk about the Board of Adjustment agenda. Item K, the applicant has submitted an email and withdrew their request for the variance into both side setbacks. Do you want me to read what the request was, or since it's been withdrawn? Okay. Well,
They withdrew it,
yes, sir.
so we can, I guess we can pass that one to the next, till they put it back in place.
Okay. The second item is a consideration of a request for a variance to reclaim 30 feet into the critical habitat zone and 10 feet into both side setbacks to create a living shoreline. Hurricane Michael caused severe erosion and loss of property. Property described as 371 East Bay Drive, East Point, Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by D. Strickland, the applicant. Staff recommendation, Based on the drawings that was submitted, it appears that all the construction activity is located seaward of the mean high water. Therefore, no variance is required into the critical habitat zone. The applicants will need to apply for a permit from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for construction in the water. Staff also request authorization to refund the applicant for the variance fee.
Pleasure to vote.
Motion to accept staff's recommendation.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish, second by Commissioner Jones. Accept the staff recommendation. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That pass unanimous.
Okay, item M is a consideration of a request for a variance to construct a septic system 75 feet from an existing well on property described as Lot 22, Block 7, Dog Island, Unit 2, 372 Lubbers Lane, Dog Island, Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by Claude Nardi, applicant. Staff's recommendation is to approve. The setbacks are in line with the state of Florida's minimum standard. The 100 feet separation between well and septic tank is a Franklin County requirement.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Masters, second by Commissioner Parrish. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That pass unanimous.
Okay, item N is a consideration of a request for a variance to construct 3 houses across 5 lots. Request for a 15-foot variance into the western side setback off of 3rd Street West, 15 feet into the north property line. Bless you.
Unbelievable. I waited all this time to get all excited.
What's going on?
They bring it up.
I'm sorry about that.
I'm sorry.
Must have unmuted themselves.
Um,
Wait, hold on 1 second, Amy. Okay.
Okay.
Attorney Sherwood, it sounded like somebody was,
If there are applicants that want to speak as to either in favor or people opposed, we need to give them a chance to, make whatever comments they're going to make to the board.
after each Board of Adjustment
Yes.
thing, we do? Okay. Okay, Mr. Chairman, so I need to go back and I'm sorry, not me. I guess what you need to ask if there were any public comments for the first 2 items prior to this. And see if anybody wants to. If they would, if you want to, would you please do that by a show of raised hand? If you're on the phone, it's *9. If you're on a computer, you just hit the icon for raised hand. If you would like to comment on any of the 2 variance requests that was just submitted to the board.
Was there anybody want to talk on public comment on the prior 2, the first 2 we did? Was there any public comments on it?
There was just someone on the line, sounds like they were complaining, so I want to give them a chance to talk. So if you are, please use the raise hand feature so I can see if you are interested in talking about this item.
There's somebody waving their hand, it looks like, or waving something.
That's a
that
fan.
looks like a ceiling fan.
Oh, it's a ceiling fan, okay.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Huh.
I thought they were moving awfully fast.
Yeah.
I hate doing it this way, Commissioners, but I could unmute all and see who speaks and try to narrow it down to one person.
Probably gonna have more than one person speak at a time.
Then I'll have to mute, yeah. Okay, if you're on the phone, yeah, thank you, Royce. If you're on the phone, please, *9 on your phone. If you are logged in and I can see your video, please manually raise your hand, I guess, if you'd like to speak. Again, Commissioners, nobody seems to be responding here. All right, I guess we proceed.
Okay, continue to the next, Ms. Amy.
Okay. Item N, consideration of a request for a variance to construct 3 houses across 5 lots. Request for a 15-foot variance into the western side setback off 3rd Street West, 15 feet into the north property line off West Gulf Beach Drive, and 4 feet into the eastern side setback on property described as lots 1 through 5, Block 9 West, St. George Island, Gulf Beaches, Unit 1, 259 and 247 West Gorey Drive, Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by William A. and Carol Thomas, applicants.
Pleasure.
Staff,
Go ahead.
staff recommendation was to approve. This will result in 3 houses on 5 lots, which is less dense than 5 houses that could possibly be built on these 5 lots. The right-of-way of Gulf Beach Drive is 100 foot wide at this location, and the actual roadway is located close to the north side of the right-of-way on the opposite side of these lots.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask a question?
Go ahead.
If you got 5 lots and you're only building 3 houses, why do you need all these variances?
These lots are 25-foot wide lots.
Okay. Motion to approve, motion to accept staff recommendation.
Second.
Public comment.
Public comment?
Once again, if you'd like to comment, please, either if you're on video, show by a raise of hands. If not, if you're on the phone, hit *9 on your phone. That basically indicates to me that you want to speak. No one, Commissioner.
Public comments? Pleasure of the board. Got a motion? I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish,
I have a second.
second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That pass unanimous. Next on the agenda, will be the planning and zoning.
That's correct.
Ms. Amy Kelly reporting.
Item O, I would like to inform the board of, that the insurance service offices, ISO, and the National Flood Insurance Program are requesting that Franklin County update their flood ordinance to include necessary changes that would keep our community rating system at a Class 7, which affords our constituents with structures within the flood zone a 15% discount on their flood insurance policy. If not updated by the end of the year, our Class 7 would go to a Class 9, which only provides a 5% discount. I am requesting that the board approve the request to update the ordinance and have County Attorney Schuler to provide guidance throughout the update process. This update will require 2 public hearings and will be required to advertise prior to each public hearing. And this is just informational item.
Pleasure of the board. Do I need to go public comment on this?
No.
No, so no public comment, but if we need to adopt an ordinance, then the board would need to authorize the public hearings that she's requesting by motion.
Oh, that's correct.
Pleasure of the board. We need to authorize the public.
So moved.
Public hearing. Set a public hearing. You motion?
Yeah, I just moved to
I got a motion
authorize
on the
that
floor by
public
Commissioner
hearing.
Burke.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parrish. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That pass unanimous.
Thank you. Item P is a consideration of a request to construct a single-family private dock located at 11 Big Oaks, Apalachicola, Franklin County, Florida. The dock will have a 4-foot by 178-foot boardwalk with a 16 by 37 terminus and a 14.5 by 22-foot boat lift. Both state and federal permits will be required. Application submitted by Garlic Environmental Associates, agent for Clay Palm, applicant, and they do have a proposed house. Staff recommendation was to approve contingent upon receiving state and federal permits. The boat lift will extend into the canal at Big Oaks, and the dock will extend into the Apalachicola River. The boat lift and the boat lift and the dock will connect by boardwalk.
Pleasure of the board.
Motion to accept staff recommendation.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish, second by Commissioner Massey. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That pass unanimous.
And by the way, Commissioner, I'm gonna double check to see if anybody had any comments. No one's waving their hand. No one is done *9, so no, there were no comments in that either, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Item Q, consideration of a request to construct a single-family private dock located at 2533 Highway 98 West, Carabel, Franklin County, Florida. The dock walkway will be 355 feet by 4 feet with a 20 by 6 terminal platform with a 2-foot step down. Both state and federal permits have been obtained. Application submitted by Garlic Environmental Associates, agent for Sonny and Karen Sykes, applicant. House is on the north side of Highway 98. The staff recommendation was to approve. The dock will extend into St. George Sound.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor. There any public comment? A motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
For the record, there were no public comments for that item either, sir.
Right.
No request to speak. Let me put it, term it that way.
Okay, item R, consideration of a request to construct a single-family private dock located at Lot 10 Bayview Village, 1839 Bayview Drive, St. George Island, Franklin County, Florida. The applicant has both state and federal permits. The dock walkway over wetlands will be 194 feet by 4 feet with a 31 by 4 foot dock and a 6 by 20 terminal platform. Request submitted by Builders by the Sea, agent for Donald and Melinda Cedar, applicant, proposed house. Staff recommendation is to approve. The dock will extend into the unnamed inlet off of the Apalachicola Bay and has both state and federal permits.
Builders by the Sea online.
Say again?
Builders by the Sea is online. Public comment, no.
Public comment? We got somebody on public comment.
Okay. All right, Builders by the Sea, do you, you're unmuted. Do you have any comments for your application? Builders by the Sea? They're unmuted, but they apparently have no comments. Okay.
Pleasure to vote.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones to approve, second by Commissioner Massey. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Okay. Item S is a consideration of a request for a public hearing to rezone a 1.86 acre parcel lying in Section 34, Township 8 South, Range 8 West, 410 Bay City Road, Apalachicola, Franklin County, Florida, from R2 Single Family Mobile Home to R4 Single Family Home Industry. Request submitted by Ralph Richards, applicant. Staff recommendation was to approve a public hearing to rezone this property to allow Sierra Richards, who lives on the property, to operate a beauty salon at her home.
Motion to approve staff, motion to accept staff recommendation.
Second.
Public hearing?
Yes.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish, second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes unanimous.
Again, Commissioner, no one indicated by public comment, by raising their hand or by waving their hand that they wanted to comment.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, T, is consideration of a request for a commercial site plan review to install one containing unit containing 8 units, 131 foot by 41 foot, and 1 unit containing 7 units, 116 foot by 41 foot. It's commercial recreational storage buildings on a 1 acre parcel located in Section 36, Township 8 South, Range 7 West. The address is 136 U.S. Highway 98, East Point, Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by Christopher Varnes, applicant. And I'll show you a site plan. This is the total 9 acre parcel. The property is going to be at the northwest corner, 1 acre.
Ms. Amy, this got 142 on this.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. The address is 136. Mark changed it. The 142 is the parent parcel, the larger parcel.
Okay.
And Mark changed the address to 136
Okay.
for just that 1 acre parcel.
Public comment?
Mr. Chris Vaughn's there. I requested to unmute if he wanted to comment. He did not unmute. And I see no one else. that has raised their hand or indicated that they want to speak on this item?
Pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve staff's recommendation.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Parrish. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That pass unanimous.
And I don't have anything additional on the planning and zoning report. We do have, we had some public hearings for land use and rezoning request, but the applicant has submitted an email and withdrew their request for land use and rezonings for items U through X.
Okay.
And that completes my report.
Anybody got anything else for Ms. Kelly? Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
You too. All right, now we got to go back and get the
Any stop
TDC.
And there you have Mr. John Solomon.
Mr. John Solomon.
And his smile.
Morning, Commissioners. John Solomon, Franklin County TDC Director. Before I get to the report, I wanted to thank Michael and his staff. We performed the TDC meeting there in the County Commission room 2 weeks ago with their assistance. And it went.
I'm sorry, Commissioner.
Okay, get off. Hey, one of you to turn off your mic.
Yeah, it's a delayed reaction. I apologize for that. John, I'm sorry about that.
Okay, did y'all catch what I said or anything, Michael?
Yes, sir, they did.
Okay, good. Well, thank you very much, Michael, for your assistance.
Oh, wait, anytime.
I have 3 action items today, Commissioners. The first one is the TDC board voted to request to pay off the loan for the Lombardi property of $199,000. The TDC board requests that the County Commission approve the paying off the loan of the Lombardi property, and this is paying off in full.
Pleasure of the board.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish, second by Commissioner Jones. Don't need no public comment for that.
No, sir.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you. Good job.
The second request is the TDC board voted to request to renew all the vendor and administration contracts and the current contract agreements and amendments. The TDC board request action that the County Commission approve renewing all the vendors and administration contracts.
So moved.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey,
Second.
second by Commissioner Burt. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Thank you, sirs. The third one is the TDC board approved the small event, major event, and museum grants. 39 entities applied for the small event grant, 4 applied for the major event grant, and 6 museums applied for the museum grant. I would like to know that everyone who did apply was approved by the TDC board. This totals $188,000 of the $213,000 budgeted for the grants program. Just like in years past, other events may come to us needing funding, and that's always nice to have that $25,000 cushion. The TDC board asked the County Commission to approve the 2021 grants program.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Masters, second by Commissioner Burt. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
And Commissioners, I don't want to take up too much time, but there's one information item that I really would like to let the board know. The TDC board voted to develop and launch a mobile app for the Franklin County TDC. Production has begun on this mobile app. We hope to release in 4 to 6 weeks when development is finished. This app will have many features, but not limited to, which is very important, weather and beach flag conditions will be directly on the app. And if we have a situation like today with double red flag, we can actually push notifications out to everybody that has this app on their phone and iPad or computer and let them know about the double red flag. So I think it's very important that y'all knew that we were taking steps forward assisting with that as well.
That's good. Good job on that.
Thank you. We'd like to thank Commissioner Jones for the idea.
Anybody got anything else for Mr.? Mr. Solomon?
Yeah.
TDC, Mr. Solomon, y'all keep up the good work. Thank you for.
Thank you, sir. Y'all have a great afternoon.
And John,
Done a
you're
good job.
sponsoring that census barbecue on Friday, are you not?
No, that is I'm cooking at it.
Cooking, okay.
Miss Courtney called me and asked me if I could help cook with it, so I'll definitely be there cooking the hot dogs for sure.
Okay, very good.
Hamburger. Oh, thank you, and you've done a good job of freeing up
Thank you,
the
sir. We
freeing
appreciate
up the
that.
money for the park, from Buddy Park.
Yeah, that was a big thing for the TDC board and for myself when I first started, was getting that paid off as soon as possible. We're shaving quite a few couple years off of that to be able to do it. So
Yeah, that's good. So now you can work on something else. Keep up the
yes,
good
sir.
work.
That's the plan.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thanks, sirs.
Next on the agenda, let's see where we at now.
Fred's gonna open up those RFQs for you. Let me get ready for the other.
Who that?
I don't know, you're on page 8, item
Wire.
the RFQ bid openings.
Okay, we got the RFP
These are-
and RFO bidding open.
These are 2 bids, so there'll be numbers written down, Commissioner, you should each have a bid sheet, there are 5 bids.
Mr. Allen Pierce, go ahead.
I'm sorry, this is for the construction of a bike path on Alligator Drive. This is at the end of Alligator Drive, going from the marina back towards the old campground that we now own. So this is an area that this is the only area of the road that is stable, so that's why we're moving forward with construction on this part first. There are other sections of construction for the bike path that were uncertain, I'll be honest with you. We just have to deal with those, but this one is funded by DOT, it's ready to go, it's been designed, it's been reviewed by the community, the bids are here, and so let's open them and see what we got. And there are 5 of them here, so they're not in any particular order that I know of, so I'm just open the top one first. M of Tallahassee is the first one, M of Tallahassee.
M?
I don't think so. M as in Manuel, Michael, or whatever.
There's a plain M, right?
Just
Yep,
plain M,
it is.
yeah. And it appears that the total base bid, it's a lot of numbers here, $1,536,561.56. That's $1,536,561.56. And looks like there's a bid bond here.
Got a bond?
How many
Bid
miles
bond.
long is this, Alan?
I'm sorry?
How many miles long?
I believe it's about 2 miles, but it may be longer than that because it's
I've
in
heard
2
3.
different sections. Approximately 1 mile of 5-foot bike lanes on either side of the road, then 1 mile of a 10-foot bike lane on just one side of the road. So
Be paved in gold?
well, that's,
Are you saying there's 3 total? Because one's on both sides of the road, what you
Yeah.
said.
Double those numbers.
yeah, 1 mile of the road is 5-foot shoulder on both sides of the road. And then 1 mile is a 10-foot segregated bike path like you have on St. George Island. So there's 2 miles. Commissioner Parrish, all I can tell you, that's 1 bid. Let's see what the other bids are.
I didn't know what the specs were.
Yeah, and I don't know what the bid amount, I don't know what the construction estimate is from DOT.
It's Alligator Point.
Yeah. They may be planning to build it back more than once before it's finished.
Yep, probably.
Next one is CWR Contracting. CWR Contracting.
C.O. Robert.
CWR, it says, but CW Roberts, yes, yeah.
Tallahassee?
They say Tallahassee. Yes, sir. So, the original. Let's see here. Oh, I threw that at you, didn't I? Yeah, sorry about that. I knew something flew. All right, the next bid is $1,534,725.80.
$1,534,725.
Yeah, $1,534,725.80. And they have a bond also, right, their bid bond. I apologize for hitting you in the face with a paperclip there.
This with the clearing and all?
This will be clearing, yes, sir. I mean, it'll be all within the right-of-way, but there, as in many places, there haven't been a lot of work within the right-of-way, so a lot of trees have grown up, there's a lot of vegetation to be removed. I'm not familiar with the design, so I can't tell you all the functions. I know in the 10-foot section, it meanders a little bit, trying to find some, some sense of you're riding on a separate bike trail. All right, the next one is Capital Asphalt out of Tallahassee. Capital Asphalt out of Tallahassee. Commissioner Parrish, part of the construction cost may be that, I hate to say this, getting material across the washout area. I mean, these contractors may have figured that there's an extra cost just trying to get things down there.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It's going to be a logistics problem getting material in there, especially concrete trucks. Okay. So, total base bid for Capital Asphalt, $1,193,862.50.
What?
$1,193,862.50. That's it. And there's the bid bond.
Is this that last one now?
No, so there's two more.
Okay.
And there's a bid bond somewhere. Here's the bid bond right here. Yep. Okay. Next one is Roberts and Roberts. So you have Roberts and Roberts out of Tallahassee. Here's the bid amount. All right, so Roberts, $1,294,560.77. $1,294,560.77. And here's something signature, looks like the bid bond there, but.
Bid bond?
I'm sure there is, Commissioner, here's bid bond right here, bid bond. And the last one is North Florida Asphalt out of Tallahassee. And the bid bond's on top. There's the bid bond. All right, the base bid, $1,416,271.00. $1,416,271.00.
And last three's pretty close.
Yeah. So I asked you to turn this over to Mark Harrington, who'll get with Clay Kennedy of Dewberry, the design engineers, and they will come back with a recommendation.
So moved.
Second. I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, second by Commissioner Parrish. Turn it over to the committee. Get it back to us. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimously.
Mr. Chairman, I just know that this is most appreciated by the folks at Alligator Point, and I'm very pleased that we moved this way today.
That's right.
Yeah, hopefully the bids are within the budget. I do not know, Commissioner Bolt, do you remember what the FDOT grant was for?
No, I don't.
Okay. Next on the agenda will be the Alliance Management Service,
Are we
Jim
skipping
Coleman.
Lori? Did we skip Lori for SHIP?
Oh, she up under that. You want to take up her?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I thought Jim was there. I had it backwards, Commissioner. Hold on. I could unmute Jim and mute Lori. That's not a problem. Hold on 1 second. I got Mr. Coleman there.
Hilton was ahead of hers on this paper.
Yeah, let me see. Mr. Coleman, okay. Hey, Jim, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Hey, just fine. How y'all?
Good. We're
How
doing
you
all right.
doing?
You can hear us loud and clear?
I can hear you loud and clear. How about myself? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. All right. He's
Good.
on the phone, sir, not on video. So, the chairman, go ahead, Mr. Chairman. He's online.
Mr. Jim, we here this morning to discuss the contract. You ready to do that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And let me just start off, I'm sorry, I should have done this in the beginning. So commissioners, you know, over the last couple of months, Jim, myself, and Mr. Walker have met, and Jim, Mr. Walker, myself, Attorney Schuler have met. So we've kind of narrowed down the contract where we think it's time to now present it to you guys for your comments, your direction, so we can finalize this and proceed as the board has requested us to do time and time again. So Jim is on the line now, and
Yes.
Commissioner, I sent you a draft copy and emails for you to look over. That was prior to some of Attorney Schuler's additional comments. So I guess now it's time to have a
Yeah.
discussion. Good afternoon, Jim.
Good afternoon. And Attorney Schuler, if you want to go through, I sent you an email this morning and responded to some of your your points, and I don't think there's anything there that's going to cause us any problems. So if you really sort of want to go through your observations and then open it up for any questions for me, I think that'd be a good way to approach it.
Well, in terms of, can you hear me on this mic? Is it turned on or off? Or? Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. That's better.
Yeah, I did get an email this morning from Jim Coleman. He has, in my opinion, answered in the affirmative the questions that I had and has indicated a willingness to make the amendments based on the email communication that I had sent to him and Mr. Morone and Mr. Walker yesterday. I had also sent an email out to the board. So from a legal review status, I think we're in a good place in terms of we have a short escape hatch of 90 days to terminate the contract in the event the board is unhappy with the services, as does the other side, without cost or damages to the county for termination. In the event there's a dispute, everybody would pay their own attorney's fees. Florida law will govern this contract. An exclusive venue in the event of any contractual dispute will be here in Franklin County. And Mr. Coleman has indicated that he will remove the indemnification, or direct his attorneys to remove the indemnification provision. So from a legal review, I'm satisfied with that. I really wasn't involved in the negotiations as to the scope of the services, so I was really hoping Mr. Walker would be here on the line with us. So I'm not really in a position to give the board any advice or guidance in terms of whether or not the scope of work is sufficient or insufficient, but I did have that conversation with Mr. Coleman, Mr. Walker, and Mr. Morone when we had our phone conference. And as I indicated to you in my email, Mr. Coleman has indicated that this is generally from, I guess, my words, not necessarily his words, but it's a full service management agreement. He's not expecting us to have much in the way of additional services that would be charged to the county beyond the monthly fee that Mr. Morone and Mr. Coleman have negotiated. But there's certainly some possibility that there could be circumstances, and I think Mr. Coleman is better able to express those to you than I am, where there could be additional services. But I think Mr. Coleman's intent, as he's explained it to me, is that would be an extraordinary and unusual event, that there would be an additional fee, and it would, of course, not be charged unless the board first asked for some service that's outside the scope of this management contract, and then there would be a negotiation and an agreement between the parties before the expenses were incurred. There was an addition in the red line that Mr. Coleman sent me last Thursday afternoon, I guess it was around 7 o'clock or so, of something called a facilities manager, which we had not discussed before. And Mr. Coleman has explained in his email to me this morning that the CEO, Mr. Walker, is the equivalent of and has the same meaning as a facilities manager. So we're going to clean that up and make sure that we don't have one part of the contract that talks about a CEO that we're paying for, and then another part of the contract that talks about a facilities manager that we're paying for, because it's one and the same. The other issue that we came up with in legal review was they wanted to charge essentially a premium if we were to terminate the contract and retain the CEO and the CFO. And there's going to be an exception in the contract because we are bringing to this management agreement a CEO and CFO that's currently employed by the county. So in the event there should be a termination of the contract and Mr. Walker and our CFO remain here, the board would not be obligated to pay essentially a headhunter fee for retaining an Alliant employee. Now, if for some reason Mr. Walker or is gone, or we have a new CFO that comes in that's provided by Alliant, then if we were to terminate and retain someone that they recruited and brought to us, then there's a premium and a price that the county would have to pay for that. But right now, that's with our current situation, there's now an exception in the contract for those two particular provisions. So that, in terms of legal review, and I'm satisfied with that form of the contract as I've just explained it to you. But Mr. Colvin, you'll need to go through and address more clearly the scope of the services, as well as the some of the instances where you think there would be an exception, an additional charge, so the board will have a better handle on that. And then if you would also explain to them what this premium might be in the event that you were to provide a future CEO, and then we were to retain that future CEO in the event the contract's terminated.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael. But and if the commission, if you would just turn to the end of the contract under Exhibit A, which is attached at the end of the legal part of the contract, that's a good synopsis of a full service management agreement. So we'll provide executive management if something should happen. Either your CEO, CFO had an accident, got sick, whatever, you needed interim support, we can provide the interim support and have people available to do that. So we serve as a resource and bench strength for Mr. Walker. The board support will attend the board meetings. We serve as an advisor to the board. We also include every 2 years we do a board strategic planning retreat locally there at Apalachicola, and probably depending on if we start a start date in this third quarter or fourth quarter of this year, then probably end of next summer would be a good time to do that. Gives us enough time to get in and on board, see some of the opportunities are. Also, we have Dr. Newton, the new physician, starting, involve him and engage him in some of our initial talks before we have that strategic planning retreat. So that's included, and we do a lot of data analysis and provide that. Tallahassee Memorial is also has a very aggressive and comprehensive decision support area where we can get a lot of data from them that's specific to Franklin County. So they've agreed to help support us with that kind of information as we put together that retreat. We sort of go through regular support for both the CFO, CEO positions as far as regular touch base meetings several times a month. We have monthly operating reviews where we review the financials, all the utilization trends for the facility, make adjustments and plans based on what we see. We have an annual leadership retreat, which includes all of our CNOs, CFOs, and CEOs, where we update everybody on sort of new best practices and get everybody together. Also, we invite the board chairs to that meeting, and we have a track for governance where we give some governance education on what it means to be a board member and what your roles and responsibilities are. And then we also provide a service that I don't know if I've never mentioned this to David, but we work with Press Ganey, who's a national company that does employee engagement surveys. We do employee engagement surveys every 2 years, and we contract with them to have enough surveys for all of our facilities, and we always build in a little overlap. So if we did bring Weems on this last quarter of this year, we will be starting to plan for that survey in the first quarter of 2021. So they'd be able to at least establish a baseline employee engagement survey, which basically gives you a lot of data and about how employees feel about Weems, what they'd like to see change, and allows David and his team working with us to put action plans together. Financial management, I won't go through all this in detail because I know you guys have had a long meeting, but a list of all the things that we do financially, which is basically financial oversight and performance, management reports, receivable analysis, revenue cycle assessment, working on the revenue cycle for improvement, which is typically a big opportunity area. And as I recall, a while back, it was an opportunity when I looked at did the ops review there before. So we'd really dig into that. We also do one of the things. Press Ganey is a service that you wouldn't have to pay for because we absorb that cost and provide that as part of our fee. Another thing that you're probably paying for now is a charge master interim completion and filing. That's probably costs you $20,000 or $25,000 a year to have that done. We include and perform that service as part of our contract also, so it eliminates that cost. Operations management, as we get in with David and we do monthly operating reviews, probably within the end of the first quarter, we'll sort of come up with a game plan of operational improvements and growth opportunities, and we'll present that with the local board. And then, whatever the commission's preference is, maybe come and do a quarterly presentation and update on what we're doing to the commission at the hospital. So we're happy to do that. We have clinical services. We have a chief nursing officer who's been before she joined Alliant about a year ago, she was a full-time Joint Commission surveyor. She's also been a CNO at Tenet and some other for-profit facilities. Very experienced in the nursing management and in regulatory issues. So she has networking for the nursing leadership. She does mock surveys, which would be included in our services. She does leadership development with the nursing staff, not just your chief nurse, but sort of developing your leaders within nursing. And she can provide a lot of services with ED leveling projects and improving operations in ED. So she's been a big asset that we brought on in the last year. Strategy, I've sort of mentioned strategy in general, but we do more than just the board strategic plan. We'll do an annual business plan with the hospital leadership and present that to the board. And we look at, and we also do a staff alignment strategies as we get medical staff on board. And then we look at a medical staff development plan of how many of different types of docs Weems needs for their population, and then work with Tallahassee Memorial to help them, get them to help us recruit those target physicians we want to bring in. Executive management support, legal services, we educate the board about their responsibility, do legal updates in healthcare in general, but as a management arm, we can't provide you with legal advice, so that would, assume, still fall to Attorney Schuler, or if the hospital has a separate counsel, depending on how specific the issue is. And then supply chain, we have a relationship with Alliant Purchasing, which is, we have about $1.5 billion of purchasing power in Alliant Purchasing, and that'll typically save whatever your current supply spend is today. We'll probably expect to see that go down 10 to 15% when we get switched over to our contracts that we have to reduce your supply costs. So in a nutshell, that's the highlights. There's more to do that would be included. Typically what we'll do is every 2 years we'll do a charge master audit. So that's something we do just as we see the need. That's a part of the revenue cycle process. We also do spot coding audits every year, primarily in emergency room, observation. If you have an OR, we usually like to do the OR, some of the high volume, high expense areas. And so those will be provided, and those are included too. But those are things that we do on sort of an ad lib basis during the year on the coding audits, and then on charge master, those are only really needed about every 2 years. But they are definitely needed to keep your charge master up to date and keep your revenue cycle working properly. So I'll be quiet and answer any questions.
Discussion, vote.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Hey, Jim, this is Bert Bolt. Good morning.
Hey, Bert.
Hi. In summary today, I do see the legal side of this contract, and then you have brought to us what I feel like is the practical side of the management day-to-day. I want to be sure that this board gives you the full faith and confidence to make the day and facilitate our staff to make the day-to-day decisions that require operation of the hospital. I think that's very, very important that you take on that responsibility. And I see, as I've learned from the board, that we are here as oversight, counsel, but we're looking for you to lead the way in that direction and make command control decisions with regard to that hospital in meeting the goals that you've discussed here. Also, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, as I said, I appreciate that, Commissioner Volt. And I welcome any of the commissioners if you want to talk to Pat Barbary over at Doctors Memorial, Mark Plummer, Calhoun Liberty. Talk to any of those are board chairs, and I think you'll hear from them. That's the way we operate. We come in, we don't come in, but we keep the board informed. So we don't come in and just start making the day-to-day decisions and not bring everybody along with us. So in the board meetings, the local board there will be fully involved. If there's a issue that's more of a significant issue, we will probably engage them before we take a direction, but we'll have a recommendation, but we'll still engage them. So yeah, that's very much the way we like to operate, where we take the day-to-day operations, working with David and his team on the ground there, and sort of set our direction and make our decisions and support them with good data and a lot of experience that we bring along with us as a line.
Excellent. I had two more points. I see the pathway that your management company has facilitated for us here in Franklin County, a pathway and a gateway now to open up a tremendous amount of ongoing conversation and working with Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare and Mark O'Brien and his staff. I see it, I first of all see a huge opportunity for training and education of the medical students and physicians that are there at Tallahassee Memorial, particularly with the huge amount of complicated diagnoses we have here in Franklin County. And I'm looking forward to that opportunity to work with you in that area and with this board with that area.
Absolutely. That's, I think we had a great opportunity sort of fell in our lap with Dr. Newton. Yeah. I know Noah's a commissioner that luckily was able to meet with us about maybe 2 weeks ago now when he came into town, and I think he's going to be a great start along with the line to really, David Walker sort of coined a phrase that I told him we would use. It's going to be a new day for healthcare in Franklin County, and I really think it will be. And I think the expertise we can bring to support David and his team there, and the backing and support that we have with Tallahassee Memorial, where he's bringing, Tallahassee Memorial engaged Dr. Newton. He's on their payroll. He's going to be placed in Franklin County. And then the good thing about that is not only will it help grow volume and business at the hospital, it'll also allow us to probably recruit another young doctor in, because when you have one there and then you try to recruit somebody else in, they say, well, who else is there? It's much, much easier to get that second and third doc once you have that first one. So I'm excited about that. He's going to be a great fit. I think telemedicine is a big area that Tallahassee Memorial is expanding with, and working with us and some of our other facilities in the Panhandle. That's got a lot of opportunity, especially with specialists in clinics. So I just think I agree with you, Commissioner, that there's a ton of opportunity yet to be even uncovered as we get into this.
Yes, sir. And my last point, and I appreciate that term, a new day in healthcare in Franklin County, I really feel that as we have these discussions today, that's exactly what we're hearing. And I would like to encourage that we start advertising and telling the public about this pivot point that we have now had here in Franklin County as we move forward in our healthcare delivery. I want to also emphasize that not only is it the management of the hospital, but as we go down the line, I'm looking forward to seeing goals and progress reports as we talk about looking at the healthcare overall in Franklin County. Our hospital is our anchor, our pivot, but also we have 2 significant outpatient clinics. We have an ambulance service, and we have need for greater amounts of professional medical personnel here in Franklin County. So I welcome, as we look at big goals, that we see the big picture in these all 4 items that you're going to be considering and working with us on.
Okay. Agreed. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just to let you know that David Walker's on the line too. So if at any time you guys want to ask him any questions or he needs to ask Jim any questions, he's there.
Mr. Walker, do you got any comments you need to come in with?
Yeah. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hear you good.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you, commissioners. I really do believe that this is a new day in healthcare in Franklin County. You know, Franklin County County Commission governs 3 major healthcare delivery systems. You know, our hospital, our clinics, and our ambulance. And so this is a perfect example now, really, to deliver increased efficiency in all 3 areas, you know, of the systems that we provide in the county. You know, we are a major county healthcare entity, and so I think with the partnership, you know, with Alliant and TMH, you know, this would allow us to grow. You know, we want to grow. We don't want to just stay put and continue the status quo. We want to begin to increase efficiency and add the needed services in our county. You know, one of the goals or mindsets, you know, we have is that we need to increase access to care in Franklin County. And what I mean by that, you know, we need to, you know, to provide services in our county for individuals in our county to reduce travel time to Tallahassee or Panama City. So whatever service that we can provide in our county for our residents and visitors, you know, we need to begin to think, you know, how can we provide that with our partnership with Alliant and TMH. I also had this agreement review, you know, with our auditor, as well as Texas A&M University, and Texas A&M University felt that what Mr. Coleman had indicated that he will provide is listed, you know, in the attachment, the exhibit that we are reading right now. And so, you know, we feel comfortable and good about that, but we're really excited. Really, you know, this is a new day, you know, for healthcare in Franklin County, and you know, we're looking to grow our service there. We're not looking to just stay pat. Thank you.
This is the beginning of a new dawn.
David and I have talked about it, and just as he said, you call it a new day or a new dawn, whatever. It is going to be a new time and a new era. I think it's exciting. I like when I visited David at the hospital and we were down there. He's done a great job. I can already see a big difference just in the appearance of the hospital, and I congratulate him on that. So I just think it's the right attitudes are over there, and I think it's going to be a great partnership with us, with David's team, and with Tallahassee Memorial.
Yeah, I met with him the other week, and the new doctor, he excited. He ready to come in running. You know?
Good.
So that's a good thing, and I believe good things gonna happen.
I do too.
And that's what we need. Then we can, once they see it's working, we can put that brick and mortar into action. That's what we need to. New hospital, new doctors. We're working on that. And we're moving on up. I'm glad to be a part of this whenever we get it signed.
I am too. I agree.
So I guess, commissioners, Mr. Chairman, if I may, is what we're looking for now. And when I say us, myself, Attorney Schuler, Mr. Coleman, Mr. Walker, what we're all looking is direction from the board. Is there any other items on this contract that you all would like tweak, would like change, need more explanation? Do you, I mean, you need more time? We're looking for some direction from the board now.
Mr. Chairman, did we find a mitigation clause in the contract?
I don't believe that there was one. But you and I, Commissioner Bolton and myself spoke yesterday, Jim. I did not remember to put that in my email with you. But one thing that we would want to add into the contract is prior to any litigation, that the parties would engage in mediation voluntarily, see if we could resolve.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be a problem. That's fairly standard. And I think
Now, actually, look at section 11, and I think that'll cover it. It's titled Good Faith Negotiations, which is, you know, with that one, the expense of mediation. We agree for a period of time to sit down in Franklin County and discuss our dispute, whatever that dispute might be, in good faith to try to resolve it to everybody's satisfaction. And then if that doesn't work, then we go the traditional route. But I think that would be what Commissioner Bolts may be looking for, because that's typically the way I like to do things too, is typically if there is ever an issue, I haven't had any so far, knock on wood, but if there is, I'd rather sit down as a good partner in good faith and try to come to a resolution without it, you know, getting to be a big issue.
I think that was.
I see that. Yes, sir.
Thing.
Good. Thank you, Jim.
Well, myself, I'm just one commissioner. I'm fine with it, but you know, I can speak for me, and the lawyer been over it, and you say it's okay, right?
Well, again, I'm limiting myself not to the scope of the work, because I don't have any experience to advise the board whether this covers the entire scope of services needed or not. That's a decision the board have to make in conversation with Mr. Coleman and Mr. Walker and Mr. Morone. I frankly wasn't involved in the negotiation about the scope, but you've heard what Mr. Coleman has said here this morning. But as far as a legal review in terms of protecting the county as much as I think we can be protected, in the event we end up in a dispute, then yes, sir, I am satisfied with that.
One question I need to ask, Mr. Chairman, if I may, both Mr. Coleman and Mr. Walker. We have agreed that Alliant will manage the ambulance service, correct? I just want to make sure, just to refresh my memory, since we met quite a few months ago.
Yes, and I said, yeah, we'll be happy to take it on. We're wrestling with it over in Perry, Florida, over there, actually trying to get the county commission to take it back over and integrate it with the police and fire service. But so we do have some, you know, we do have some experience. Some of my team members have managed facilities with ambulance services, so you know we'll be happy to take on that task and include it. And I'm sure it's already there. You know, it's already been high on David's list already. It's a difficult service to manage, but mainly because of staffing in current times. So, but we'll provide all the support we can for that service, and hopefully make it a little more efficient also.
Good. Thank you, Jim.
Yes,
That's very important.
Oh, yes, this is David Walker. Yeah, we definitely want to continue our ambulance services under our umbrella. Like I said, you know, we have three major entities, you know, that we provide care in Franklin County, and the individual that we got over the system now is doing a great job, a very wonderful job. So we think we can do some great out of the box service with our ambulance services.
Yeah, and your normally, if you have an ambulance service in a county, you really do want to run it out of your facility, you know, out of your hospital. And that's preferred, because that way you sort of control the ambulance service, which is something you would do like to control. And it Perry's a different story. It's not that it's the service is really struggling to get personnel, and it's not subsidized. So it's actually a drain on the hospital's financials. The county provides no support for it. And so that's really the issue over there.
Well, see what it is. That's the only thing the state requires. We got to have that. So that's a mandate.
Yeah.
That's what they mandate us to have, ambulance.
Yeah, and I think we've got some good core baseline that Jim can work with here too, with our ambulance service.
Yeah. a strong leader is the key, as in just about anything. And it sounds like from talking with David, they do have that in place, which is a big head start.
Yes. Thank you, Jim, for that.
But anybody else need to talk? Other commissioner? Like I said, I'm fine with it, but I'm just one commissioner. What about
Yep. You guys.
I done heard from two, me and Mr. Boat. What about the other three?
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I've looked at it some. I would like to look at it a little bit more. It was a lengthy document, and I don't think we actually got it till yesterday morning, so. As far as the red line version coming from the attorney and how it was presented, so. I'm thankful for the presentation, but I definitely haven't looked over it, for the amount of time I'd like to.
Okay. Anybody else?
Okay, so what I'm hearing basically, commissioners, what I am or not hearing, is that basically you want an opportunity to look at it again. You want it back on either my report or on the agenda, as an agenda item for the next meeting. Give everybody an opportunity to look at it, talk to Jim, talk to Attorney Schuler, talk to Mr. Walker. So more, if you have to, more one-on-one conversations before we bring it up. Is that the direction I'm hearing?
Mr. Chairman, I definitely like it brought back at the next meeting.
Okay.
I'm ready to move
Okay.
with it, but I got another request. Somehow when I was looking at it, again, this contract a while ago, I've deleted it. Could you resend it to me?
Yeah.
Cause I don't have it no more.
That's fine.
I was looking at it during recess earlier, and I don't know if I somehow I deleted it.
Okay, that's not a problem. 'Cause I said it last week, but I think from what I'm understanding, from what Commissioner Jones is saying, there was Attorney Schuler might have sent a separate one, or he got a separate one. I'm not quite sure. But the one I sent was last week, but I'll get it back for you.
And Michael, if you don't mind interjecting, maybe we integrate the things that Attorney Schuler sent me this morning that I've responded to. Maybe we make those final changes, because those were clarifications, and then maybe then and it won't take long to do that. We could probably do that tomorrow.
Okay.
And then I'll shoot that back to him, and then that'll be pretty much as close to the final version as we would have, and that way it can be distributed to everybody again by Thursday.
All right, that works for me.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Okay.
Mr. Coleman, this is Michael Schuler. The document that you sent to me, is it locked in any fashion, or am I able to make red line changes on the document myself and send it back to you?
I did not lock it unless it was locked when I sent it, and I didn't know it, but it shouldn't be locked. So see if you can do that, and that'll be fine. That'll speed it up, and I'll turn it right back around for you.
All right, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'd like to see this get on, do what we're gonna do, because we've been dealing with this long enough. We know they were coming. Let's get it, do what we got to do.
Yep.
Or what you want to do. For I'm good with it, but like I say, I'm just one commissioner, but I need a motion to bring this back to the next meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, and we will come up, hopefully, and resolve this thing at the next meeting.
Yep.
I'm not looking for a discussion the next meeting, I'm looking for to get it done,
Okay.
one way or the other.
Okay.
It's all right with y'all. Y'all ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It passes unanimous.
All right, Mr. Walker, Mr. Coleman, thank you all very much, and I'll be talking to you soon.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Commissioners.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before we unmute, well, I'm sorry, Commissioner, it's 12 o'clock. Now, Lori Swice has been holding a bit on the line with the ship. I don't know what, if you want to
Let's
take
get
it,
it done.
go to her and then go to lunch, or what?
Let's get it done.
Okay.
How far we got? Y'all wanna do Laura?
And
Yes,
before-
you got one item.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
but before we go to Lori, one thing, and glad Alan reminded me, so it's right here in front of me and I still forgot. So, Pam came by and said the governor has included us in his emergency declaration. So with that being said, we need a local state of emergency approved by the board and authorizing the chairman to sign.
So moved.
For Hurricane Sal, is it Hurricane? Hurricane Sally, yes.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Byrd, and Jones. By everybody, I guess. But now I want discussion. This just for this for what's going on now, right?
The rain,
This is a 7-day, this covers a 7-day period.
because what Pam said, what she told Alan and I in there is that they're expecting 15 inches.
Up to 10 to 15 more inches of rain because the storm has stalled now, or moving 2 miles an hour, which eventually stalled. So this rain event could continue for quite a while.
And by my yard, it was standing a little bit, so y'all can get ready to get the cold. We gonna have the cold.
The good news is moving so slowly, we're not having a storm surge event, but it's a rain event.
Yeah.
The bad news is Alligator Road's gonna wash out with the rain event because there's not enough drainage.
Sure,
there.
that's
So
right.
That's gonna be a
Puddle.
problem.
But we can't control Mother Nature.
So is this.
I wish it
We'll
could,
get
but
it.
we can't.
We'll make it, it'll work.
This for the next, until the next time we get it?
This is for the next 7 days, and hopefully.
For
by the
7
end of
days,
7 we'll see.
and Michael, did you give me another to sign for the one we own already?
Yes, I had that in there, I'll double check.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, the only good news is that by getting part of the declaration, the governor's issue, then if we do get a presidential declaration, we will be included in that. That's the benefit of this, actually.
Right.
Hopefully we can.
good.
The
If
good
we
news-
do,
the
we
bad
can
news
get
is
something
good
done
news.
out there.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Okay, y'all ready to vote, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, that passed unanimous. I mean, you know, it's been a long time since I seen water just stand in my yard. Usually just go right down, but.
It's got all it wants, ain't it?
Yeah. I went out there this morning, I had some, I said, but dog, take water table up high.
I'm not being just, I'm not trying to be funny here, but so that we, in case we end back up on Channel 13 News again, we all understand, all the residents understand that everybody's flooded here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we
Everybody
can't,
understand we can't control Mother Nature.
There you go.
this, and this thing slow, it just standing there beating us. I mean, it just standing there raining.
Yeah, the good news is that the rain has not reached hopefully it won't, but it probably will, has not reached the majority of the Chattahoochee River plain, river basin. So the flooding we're getting is our flooding. It's not necessarily coming all the way out of Georgia yet. The Flint River is at flood stage, so it's getting flooding over there, but, the way the storm track, it could easily, and probably will ultimately go north of us, so this could be a lot.
Yeah, and this could nourish our bays and help our oysters.
It ain't gonna get.
If it doesn't wash us away, yes.
Hey, what they do, oh yeah, 'cause they gonna send it down now, they don't need it. Where we need it, they don't send it, but they gonna let it go, that's how they do. Okay, I guess we'll.
Ms. Schweitzer on the line.
Ms. Schweitzer?
She's unmuted and ready to talk.
SHIP program, Ms. Laura White. Mills.
Hi, Commissioners.
Hey, Lori.
Lori, Lori Schweitzer Mills, Franklin County SHIP. The first item I have in your packet is the SHIP annual report for closeout fiscal year 17-18. The total expended was $384,190.50. We assisted 6 applicants with down payment assistance, 13 with owner-occupied rehabilitation, and 1 with emergency repairs. On page 11, the report shows the data so far for interim year 1, which is 2018, and interim year 2, 2019-20. I am requesting board action to approve the SHIP annual report for closeout fiscal year 2017-18.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish, second by Commissioner Master. One thing I need, now, Laura, Ms. Rice, Ms. Blythe, they didn't give us no more money, like this money we closing out, right? Not
This
year.
is for the regular ship fund.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They didn't give, we didn't get no more.
We did not get it. No, we didn't. We did not get it for this year.
Okay, all right.
We ended up getting these coronavirus relief funds,
Yeah, I know.
which it's not as much, of course, but they gave us that and vetoed the other.
But you think, didn't we write a letter to ask them to reconsider? Did you think we heard anything? Haven't heard?
No, sir.
Y'all heard anything with the people you talked with, Laura? Cause we
I haven't heard it.
Yeah, we wrote a letter for them asking for reconsideration. But, okay. I guess we'll have to check on that too. Put chokes on that. All right, y'all ready? Any more discussion? Y'all ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Okay, so I have an update for the Hurricane Housing Recovery Fund. All 8 of the mobile homes have been delivered and are being set up now. We have 1 home in Carabel has had the final inspection and is complete except for the skirting, which is ordered. And then 1 home in Appalachia is complete. We're waiting on the certificate of occupancy. 2 of the septic systems are finished, and Collins Construction is in the process of installing the remaining 2.
Can I ask you a question on that?
Sure.
Go ahead, finish what you saying, then
Well, I was going to move on if y'all didn't have any questions on that. That was just a little update, so
yeah,
you can ask.
You mentioned that skirting thing, and for Mr. Wilson, he said a dog?
We got that worked out, Commissioner.
Y'all got that worked out?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they ended up replacing the ductwork and the skirting's up. He's actually finished. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
So he's happy.
Okay. I know he said a dog threw it up about 2 days after that.
Right. Yeah, that's all solved.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Any more questions about those funds?
No. Go ahead. You can continue.
Okay. As you are aware, Florida Housing Finance Corporation, through the State Housing Initiative Partnership, we received $175,000 of the state of Florida's Coronavirus Relief Fund to assist Franklin County residents that have been negatively impacted by the Corona-19 pandemic and struggling to pay housing expenses such as rent, mortgage payments, and utility payments. The advertisement ran in the Times in the August 13th paper. We began accepting applications on Mondays, August 31st. We have given out approximately it's actually 200 now. I have 150 on my report, application packets, and we have received 36 back so far. After 6 trainings on the CRF funds, there have been some changes to the rules. I just wanted to update you on that. We cannot pay any future payments for rent, mortgage, or utilities. So for rent or mortgage payments, we can only pay the past due amount and for the current month that we're in. For utilities, we cannot help any applicants unless they are 30 days late. At that point, we can pay the past due balance only. We cannot pay the current month in utilities. This is new from when I submitted this report that you're looking at. So we cannot pay any of it unless they're 30 days late. So that's just an update on that. So, when we pay their bills, if they've not totaled the 2,500 limit and they are still having a hardship in the following month, we are required to make sure they still have a hardship, their income has not changed, and then we can pay the rent or mortgage for that month only. And any utilities if they're 30 days past due.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
Wouldn't they like be open?
It's so frustrating. They started off saying that, okay, pay past due, pay current. They even said, pay forward, spend the money, you know?
Yes.
Then they changed the rules and they said, okay, you can't pay forward anymore. You can only pay current and pay past due. Well, Linden Finance and Lori found out here last week, even that rule changed now recently. Now you could only pay past due. So like you're saying, so basically wait until the lights and the water is turned off or you're just about to get kicked out, then they can pay it. So
yes.
The problem
and
is,
everyone is coming in too.
the problem is you have these people that turn in applications early in the process based on the rules that were there then, and they've changed. And so they're getting frustrated because, well, wait a minute, that's not what you all said in the beginning. And so once again, commissioners, the county's getting the blame. Oh, you guys are no, we're not changing the rules. The state is changing the rules every other week or every week, basically. You know, so that needs to be out there. It's not us, it's them, if I could say it that way.
Right.
The rules are changing all the time. And understand we have to roll with the punches.
Yeah, I'm actually moving kind of slow to start with, just to make sure everything is correct. So, but I have been guaranteeing some light bills so that people don't get shut off. But we're just working very carefully right now. Any questions on that?
Yeah.
I don't have any questions. I just want to make a statement. When COVID first started, Duke Energy allowed people to go month after month without paying, but you still owe that money. In other words, I pay all mine because I don't want to come to the end and owe them a bunch of money. But some people were not able to pay. This is where that program helps. They won't let you pay going forward because basically you really need to get a job and pay your bills. But Duke Energy did allow people to not pay their bill if they were not able, and this program helps catch them back up so that they don't owe them, you know, a few $1,000s when time runs out. So that's basically what this program does, and I just wanted to put that on the record.
Yeah, and just so you know, Duke Energy is starting to shut people off now.
Yeah.
I had two call yesterday saying that their lights were cut off, and they did owe a great big bill.
Yeah, and that's what this program is about, is to help catch people up before they're cut off. But they got behind because Duke Energy allowed them to, because as the whole world shut down, and especially the United States for a long time, people were not able to work and they got behind. But they didn't shut them off right then, so I applaud them for working with the people. Although now the program's about over and, you know, you gotta pay up now.
What, the thing on, they said COVID related, but some people ain't COVID related, so.
They say they are.
Boom. And it just, yeah, but them trucks was rolling yesterday, I seen them up on the hill, I said it's kinda late for Duke to be rolling. Okay, well.
Miss Laurie, I had one question. When these applicants have late utilities and that type of thing, do you have any influence by calling the creditor and telling them at least you're on board with the application process so that perhaps they don't shut off utilities while the applicant is in process with you? Do you have any thoughts on that? Can you do that?
I do. I've been guaranteeing some water bills and light bills. I can email Duke Energy and they won't shut them off.
Okay.
But the problem is I have to wait till I get to their file, make sure they're approved, you know, and make sure I have the right amount that I'm guaranteeing.
I see. Okay.
But yes, I have. It's when I go through it and know that they qualify, then I can guarantee them.
Okay. Good, thank you.
Anybody else got anything? Ms. Laura, did you got anything else?
I do. I have one more thing that is not on my report.
Go ahead.
That needs discussion.
Okay.
There are 2 applicants. This is for regular SHIP. There are 2 applicants approved for SHIP down payment assistance that are requesting to use the Florida Housing $15,000 Hurricane Michael down payment assistance program in addition to the SHIP down payment assistance. Florida Housing confirmed that the applicants can use both DPAs if SHIP is willing to take third lien positions. So their mortgage loan would be at the first lien. Florida Housing Hurricane Michael down payment of $15,000 would be their second lien, and then SHIP $10,000 to $15,000 would be their third lien. It states in our SHIP, our local housing assistance plan, that it is the policy of the county not to subordinate except for refinancing to lower the interest rate on the first mortgage if applicant is receiving no cash back. So I've been talking back and forth to Florida Housing and Michael Schuler about it. And in order to allow the applicants to use both down payment assistance, the county would need to make an exception to the rule for these 2 applicants. These are the last 2 applicants for the down payment funds until we get more SHIP funding. So I'm requesting that the county make a motion to waive the policy. It is the policy of the county not to subordinate except for refinancing to lower the interest rate on the first mortgage if applicant is receiving no cash back. So waive that policy for these 2 applicants and allow SHIP to be in third lien position to enable them to use both of the funding sources for their mortgage loans.
Mr. Chairman, got a question. So they're gonna get a $10,000 down payment assistance and a $15,000 down payment assistance?
Yes.
Okay,
They are both
and there's no
requested
other,
to be able to use both of them.
there is no other person in this county that needs down payment assistance. So we're gonna give 2 people $25,000, which means there's 2 people across this county that ain't gonna get nothing. Correct?
True. That's
Yeah,
true.
I'm not in favor of that. I'm
'Cause
not,
these
I'm not
are the
making a
last
motion, but
2,
I'm not in favor of that.
Yeah, they are asking me to, can they? And I have never been asked that before. We've always been in second lien position. So I did not know, what to tell them. So that's your decision. If they decided to use the Hurricane Michael, if you said no and they decided to use the Hurricane Michael down payment assistance, then I could close their file out and use the SHIP and open it back for someone else.
That's my theory. We try to help everyone, and I don't see giving
Right.
one person or 2 people double down payment assistance when I know for a fact there are other people here wanting assistance, but they're being told there ain't no money.
Right, yes.
And Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, when Lori brought this to my attention, I told her basically that, to find a rule in the local housing policy that would allow this, if it could be allowed at all. She came back and told me about the current policy, which says the SHIP liens, your policy is they do not take subordinate other than a second lien position. In other words, the bank lien would be first, the SHIP down payment assistance lien would be second, and so the policy says they don't get the third bite, or they don't get the second down payment assistance. So that's why Lori, I guess, was bringing it back up to you. But under your current policy, I'd say you probably shouldn't do it.
I'd rather see them open it up and get 2 more people.
Yep, as many as we can.
Okay.
I ain't making no motion.
Because they're gonna
Cut somebody out.
cut somebody out and it's gonna I bet it's gonna make somebody mad with us.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So do we actually need a motion to adhere to our policy we already have?
No, sir.
Okay. That's good.
I'm not sure, I don't think so. I think I just needed a motion in order to do that. I would need a motion. So if, whatever y'all want to do, if you say no, then I'll just tell them no, and I don't think we need a motion.
Yeah, no,
They gonna get it, they gonna get one anyway, right?
They don't get 15.
They get a 15. That's more than what we offer as a 10, Commissioners. Yes.
Yeah, most people get 10.
Yeah, yes, sir.
I mean, the regular thing is.
That's right. The ship is 10. This other one is 15. Yes, sir.
The ship is 10 to 15, depending on what their income level falls at. If they're moderate income, it's 10,000. If they're low income, it's 12,500. And if they're very low income, it's 15,000.
Well, let me ask you a question. Ain't you, do you have some people still need on the regular?
Yeah.
I'm sure, yes.
Yes, it does.
I'd rather see, I think it'd be better if we could help two more instead of these here automatic gonna get.
Right.
They automatic gonna get it and then we can help two more, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep. And Lord, before, not to change the subject, but before I let you go, so, I saw an email last night from Rob Deerdorf, up there, Florida Housing. So you're getting more CRF funds. Is that for the this utility mortgage rent program, or is this a different program you're getting?
No, actually what I forwarded that to you and Linda, it shows that we are not getting more funds.
Oh, we're not getting more funds?
Right. If we were going to get some more funds, we had to sign some amendment to the contract, but if you look on the attachment, it shows that we're not getting more funds.
Oh, that answers that
for
question.
CRF.
All right, that answered that for me. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody got anything else for Ms. Laurie? Keep up the good work.
That's all I have.
Keep up the good work, Ms. Laurie.
All right, Lori, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Chip program, let's see. Oh, yeah, let's go and get it on. Next on the agenda will be Clerk of the Court.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, just quickly, I just want to remind everyone that we have our virtual final budget public hearing next Tuesday, September 22nd at 5:15.
Okay.
Aaron, did you have anything? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be the Special Project Consultant, Mr. Allen Pierce report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
How you like that new title?
Sounds good to me. Doesn't matter. Send the bill, send the check. So my report's pretty straightforward. One item could have been an action item, but we didn't have to today. So I just want to inform the board on something because I may not be here when you get the documents, and that's the first item. Inform the board that Mr. Shu and I reviewed a draft agreement generated by the Triumph staff for our $1 million Triumph Airport project. At this time, the county airport project is on the September 24th Triumph board agenda for approval. And I asked that at least one of the commissioners or somebody be on that. It's a telephone conference so that they can hear how happy we are to receive this 2 years later, but we're still happy. If the Triumph board approves the draft agreement by their own staff, then it'll be sent to the county for approval. Mr. Schuer may have some additional comments, but the essential change to this draft is that the clawback risk has been substantially reduced because the Triumph agreement now includes as a match only the FDOT project that is currently under construction at the airport, which is the access road. And actually, it's finished. I drove out there 2 days ago. It's all finished. The previous draft agreements include several $1 million of FDOT projects the county expects to materialize but are not guaranteed. The Triumph staff agreed to remove those projects from the clawback conditions. The county commission will need to vote on the Triumph agreement after the Triumph board approves it. The county should receive the Triumph agreement sometime in October. Once the agreement is fully executed, the next step will be for the county to complete the design of the fuel farm improvements. The Triumph agreement allows for the county to use existing consultants. Avcon's not called out, but it has some terminology in there for existing consultants to complete the design work and supervise the construction. So the only part of the project to be bid out is the construction phase. Avcon was selected through a competitive bid process, and the county will have to provide Triumph proof of the selection process. But excuse me, but I have spoken directly to the Triumph staff about the need and the logic for using Avcon, and they understand that that's the county's intention, so there shouldn't be any issue that we showed them the documentation of how we selected Avcon, and they agree to that, and then we move forward with the design. In order to get the draft Triumph agreement through the review of the Triumph staff, I had to revise the county's original Triumph application, and attached to the board's files electronically is the letter that had Michael Marone sign, which amends the county's Triumph application. This was necessary to put the county's application consistent with the terms and conditions that were ultimately put in the Triumph agreement. So, Mr. Stewart, do you have any more comments on the deal?
No, those were the two items that caught my attention when I reviewed it. One was that the definition of the project excluded the FDOT entry road that is now being used as our match. So we had to amend the application to include that FDOT project and then, of course, revise the FDOT future funds that are not secured and are not approved, remove those from the clawback provision so that essentially the match has already been provided and agreed to before we ever signed the contract. So essentially the callback is in the document, but it's practically it's never going to happen. So, but those are the only two changes that looked to me like they had to be changed. And frankly, I don't think I was kind of surprised they agreed to those changes. They typically, they're like a big battleship. They don't turn. They just go in one direction. Anyway, good job, Mr. Fields.
So there's no motion necessary this morning. I just want to tell you all that. So when you get the documents in October, then you would vote on the agreement, assuming that the Triumph Board approves it as the structure that's been given to them. But we'll find out September 24th. The next item, just as information, I have called and emailed the Corps of Engineers to find out the status of the East Point dredging channel. I actually spoke yesterday to a gentleman in Mobile who was watching the new hurricane wash in, so I didn't get a whole lot of information out of him. But I don't know of any problems, but I also don't have an update. And so I was a little disappointed. I told the Corps that you know, we were waiting for a go. Where's the go? I will say that the county's matching money coming out of the consortium is under review at the Gulf Council, and that should be approved this month. So I feel like we are really close to getting both ends together, but you know, I have to once again say they're not together yet. Next item, up down Alligator Drive. Unfortunately, the road is probably washing away as we speak, but hopefully it's just going to be a water issue, not substantial storm tide, just rainwater that the county can maintain. We're still waiting for the funding, and I hate to tell you that every time a new storm comes in, you know, old projects get slower and slower approval, and that's what's going to happen here. This thing becomes a big quagmire in the southeast, being Hurricane Sally. There's no timeline to get these things approved. It's just a bad situation. Item number 4, inform the board that I've spoken to Mr. Mike Dombrowski, and he is planning to make another funding request to DEP for design money for the beach renourishment project on Alligator Point to protect the road. The project will be the same as what I've described in the past, which is about a mile-long beach renourishment project in front of the area that's washing out, and it would be submitted to FDP for funding in the 2021 legislative session. The problem for the county is that FDP has changed the scoring for beach renourishment. Projects with a federal sponsor, like a project wanted by the Corps of Engineers, will get more points, and projects that provide large economic benefit also get more points. The board will need to pass a resolution in support of the project, and Mr. Dombrowski will prepare that draft resolution to Mr. Marone when he has finished preparing it. That's why I didn't ask for action today, because I don't have the resolution in front of you. Mr. Dombrowski will not charge the county for preparing the FDP funding request, so the county has nothing to lose. So when the document comes, Michael, the resolution, you know, I'll probably get it also, but then we'll put it on the agenda to get it approved. That's basically what it is. It's a $200,000 funding request for the finishing design, and we'll see if we get it. And you know, it's possible that Representative Schoaf can get everything funded, including ours. You know, we just don't know how the funding goes this year. Last year we got caught up in the COVID, which caused a lot of problems. Hopefully this year we'll be better off. Next item is inform the board that a drone manufacturer has been in contact with me about setting up a training and demonstration site at the Apalachicola Airport. The drone manufacturer has visited the airport and has been in contact with the Franklin County school system to learn more about drone certification programs offered at the school. The drone manufacturer is looking at other airports in Florida, but our airport is in the running. The manufacturer is considering a future relocation of the manufacturing plant to Florida, so it will be beneficial to have them start their Florida operations at our airport. I've also discussed potential Triumph funding with the company in the event they do relocate manufacturing to Florida. So I just want to let you all know that we do have someone interested out there, and we'll just see how things work out. The last issue is something and I did go back and check my emails. The two people who were going to talk this morning about Harbor were having some technical difficulties, they didn't get online. So I just, you know, we talked about it already this morning, but do you all want, should we make a motion to ask Representative Schoaf to see if he can push the issue along with DEP and get something funded down there? I mean, there's going to be an issue this winter on getting into the aquaculture, into the leaseholders. You know, what do y'all want to do?
I make a motion.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, second by Commissioner Burke.
Discussion.
Discussion, yeah.
I don't know, I guess Michael will probably write this letter, or one of the county
Yeah,
staff.
yeah.
But it needs to be included in there that we didn't create the problem that we've got with the lack of access for all these permit holders that the state has issued permits to.
That's right, sir.
You know, don't turn it around and give it back to the county, because we didn't issue no permits.
Right.
Yeah.
It's their fault. They issued the permits, and now the people can't get out there to utilize the permits issued by the state. So they need to take care of the problem. And that needs to be stated in the letter, not just say we need some, don't be so passive, what I'm saying. We need to be more strong in our letters stating that they created the problem and we expect them to help solve the problem. That's their problem. We didn't create this problem.
Commissioner, if you remember, we've tried. We went out, tried to get them to open up the FSU,
Yeah.
And they, because some residents didn't want it in their backyard, they
That's right.
turned that down. Not even, they didn't even come back and confer with the board, say, hey, can we work this out? No, they just turned it down. So you have tried, so now it's, you know.
Yeah. And I would
But
advise,
don't they got another boat, that old FSU boat ramp.
But the people
one.
don't want them driving through the neighborhood.
That's what it is.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
they can't do that. The people, you can't. The
Well, with the
state
road
keep-
steady washing out, I don't know if.
right, I mean, some of the clam aquifers, farmers don't really want to use that route because of the road situation. But just to further what Commissioner Parrish said, what we ought to do is reference this letter back from 2018 that the board wrote to the County Knickerbocker. When we first were asked our opinion in 2018, we told the DACs at that time that the parking is a problem. We put it in a letter, we wrote it to them, we said, don't issue any more leaseholders until you solve the parking problem down there and the water access problem, and they ignored the letter. So, yeah, we have a record that that we knew there was a problem, and we told DACs there was a problem 2 years ago.
But the people are still coming to us.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they can't get to the state.
Right.
So, I mean, we steady hear the complaints and the cries of the people, but there ain't nothing we can do to solve it. We don't own no property down there. Especially no property if you open it up, you gotta have enough property for these 60 leaseholders to park their boats in the trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, the trucks in the trailer.
According to the two people that should have been on the phone this morning, Representative Schoaf, they've talked to Schoaf, and Schoaf apparently is very, very concerned about the issue. And so I think a letter from us to Schoaf now maybe will spur him to try and get something more done, because he's committed, according to them, to try and help solve the problem.
I think the letter ought to go to the cabinet.
Well, our first letter did.
They're the ones that voted to have DACs issue these permits. The issue went to the cabinet. The cabinet voted to have DACs issue these permits for this aquaculture. They couldn't issue no permits without the cabinet approving it. So there's a lot of people responsible for DACs issuing these permits. It had to go to the cabinet, 5-member cabinet, governor.
The direction of the board then will let it go to whoever you all feel.
Well, I mean, CC everybody, but I think the letter ought to go to the cabinet. They're the ones that approve it. Based on a recommendation from DAC, you know.
Let them do to all of them, send it to all of them, they sit up and.
If you remember,
Hold
this
this thing.
board was against the upper water column
Right.
leases in Alligator Point, and the cabinet's the one that voted to do it anyway, not
I
that.
didn't know that.
Cabinet.
And then they got the same, just like the man told me, so he went to, so he couldn't do the work, cause what that was the last holiday, Labor Day.
Labor Day, all the recreation
All the
fishermen down there.
recreation fishermen, you know, they going in there too.
Can't park with 3 trucks and trailers, that's all they
Right.
park.
All them going in there.
Or yeah, it's on somebody
So-
else's property.
So I guess we need a motion then to write.
I need a motion. I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Master.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parrish. The right, write all of them, let them know. Whoever it takes, let them, and maybe they'll. do something. Any more discussion on it? They know better. They know better. They just trying to get things out of their hand. And we done this, you done
Yeah,
they invented a problem.
Someone wanted to create credit for creating aquaculture as an industry without looking at all the ramifications. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. All right. Y'all ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous. Okay, next on the agenda will be the county coordinator, Mr. Marone, Michael Marone report.
And my first item is census update from Ms. Courtney Bankston about an event and a letter to your federal legislative delegation.
Good afternoon, commissioners. As you know, I have planned a census backyard barbecue event. It's like a last census effort to ensure that all of the community is counted. The event will take place on Friday, September 18th from 11 to 2 p.m. I've collaborated with Whitney at the East Point Library, and she will have computers and laptops available for people to self-response. Commissioner Jones, I want to say thank you for your contact you received from Representative Schoaf. Ms. Sala Jackson was a tremendous help in getting some census representatives to be present at our event. When I originally planned it, I didn't know whether we were going to have the opportunity to have MQAs, but with her help, she assured me that we will have someone there to assist, which is good. I did want to stop and let everyone know that this event is not just for East Point residents. This is for all of Franklin County. They can complete their census there at the event because we will be assisting them with self-response. With self-response, it guarantees more accurate count because we're not sure whether we have any enumerators going door to door. So everyone is invited to come out, complete their census, and then have lunch on us. The second item I was going to talk about was a letter that me and Pat O'Connell drafted to Senator Rubio, Senator Scott, and Congressman Dunn. The reason for the letter is to address two main concerns for our rural area. The first one is that our counties have limited internet access, and even with our efforts to spread mobile devices in hotspots, we still have several residents without. Our second concern was the large amount of second homes in our county and how the Bureau has no database that identifies these homes. So if they don't have a database, then we don't know if they're being counted as non-responsive. There are other cities and counties all over that have been having the same issues. We have had other counties and cities request a extension to the census, but our letter is just to address our little small county area, our rural area, about the internet and the second homes. We don't want our challenges of living in a rural area to impact our chance of receiving accurate funding for the next decade. Right now we're at 33%. 10 years ago we were at 32.4%, so we're doing pretty good. I think with this event and another event that Pat O'Connell will be holding in Lanark will also help our numbers jump up. And so we can only try and hope that these challenges for us in other areas like ours will be addressed before the final count at the end of this month. And that's all I have.
So we're asking for board action to authorize the chairman to sign that letter to our legislature.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Masters, second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
All right, any questions for me?
Thank you.
When is that Lanark census?
Pat hasn't secured it just yet.
To be
but
determined.
Yeah, it's to be determined, but it's either next Thursday or the Thursday right before the final date, so.
Okay.
I'll have that information for you later.
Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney. Thank you so much. Okay, Commissioner, if I may, item number 2, at your last meeting, you opened and read aloud the submittals for CEI services for CR 370. That's the multi-pass project over in Alligator Point. There are 5 submittals which have been reviewed and ranked by the committee, and AECOM out of Monticello, Florida was the top ranked firm. FDOT has concurred with this ranking. Your planning department needs authorization to begin negotiations with AECOM on a contract for CEI services. So I need action to accept the ranking and allow your planning department to start negotiations with the top-ranked firm, AECom.
Second.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish, second by Commissioner Burke and Commissioner Master. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Item 3, I attach to your agenda packet the CDBG report from Ms. Deborah Belcher. It was all basically for information items, but I would like the board to ratify my approval. Is item number 2. It was a $4,000 change order for the Anna Devin Creamer project at 568 Wilderness Road. This change order was needed for the demolition and disposal of the add-on structure which was attached to the old mobile home. The Creamers agreed to the removal of the structure.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, second by Commissioner Jones. They ain't put that trail in yet.
They could, make a long story short, the Creamers promised that they could go through somebody else's property. That person said, no, they can't. And so we were going on that assumption all this time. When we asked for it in writing, the property owner said, no, they can't. So the only way to get the trailer in is to tear down that freestanding unit that they had there. So we had to wait for the Creamers to agree to that, because there was no other way to get the trailer in there.
Yeah, Lord.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, y'all voted?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Item 4, the Sheriff's Department applied for E911 grant in the amount of $188,270 to prepare the GIS data for the NG911 Region 1 routing project. As the cover letter states, this project is important as to keeping us on pace for the installation of a 12-county routing service that will allow for all counties to act as backup to any of the other 12 counties, and also allow transfer of errant wireless calls to the appropriate location. The cover letter and applications were due last week, so the sheriff asked the chairman to sign both board action to ratify the chairman's signature on the grant program application and the associated cover letter.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Master, second by Commissioner Parrish. All in favor?
Aye.
All
We addressed.
against?
I'm sorry.
That passed unanimous.
I'm sorry, sir. We already addressed item 5, item 6 in my report. During the coronavirus pandemic, Planner Mark Curenton has reviewed all applications for the Board of Adjustment and Planning and Zoning as the board has directed. The board asks that he be compensated during his time for this additional responsibility while P&Z and BOA did not meet. It would be reasonable to assume that this added responsibility of reviewing 38 applications over 4 months has taken approximately 1 workday per month. It's my recommendation that the board authorize an additional 7 hours per pay month for the 4 months that Mark Curenton did the reviews.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish, second by Commissioner Master. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
That's the end of my report, Commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, I got something on Michael's here if we can.
Go ahead.
Michael, looking over the new amended 5-year work plan the FDOT's put out, that has paving being done on Highway 98 through several places in the county. Right now, as they currently sit, it is leaving out the area of the field between the 2 bridges in Apalachicola.
The causeways,
That were
yes, sir.
damaged by Hurricane Michael. So I would like to make a motion for us to send a letter as a board to Secretary Gaynor and ask them to extend the western limits of that project that's supposed to go from South Franklin and East Point over to the John Gorey Bridge in Appalachia, specifically to address the impacts and the damage done by Hurricane Michael to the road shoulder, and as you come off the bridge, that dip is really bad. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
But I would like for us to do that and ask them to expand that boundary to include that section when they start to do this project. I mean, it's a couple of years away, but we need to ask them before they start doing the
The
design.
sooner the better. Yes, sir.
I second that.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Master and Commissioner Burke. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous. Next on the agenda be Mr. Mike Chu.
I did not submit a written report, but if you recall, Kim Bodine appeared before the board a couple of meetings back and said that she needed some information from DEO in order to help prepare people to get back to work, but DEO was requiring the county to sign her to sign this new contract where the county, for the first time, would have to be responsible for the confidentiality of the information. When I brought that in, to the board's attention, y'all directed me to go back to DEO and find out why, and was there some other method for Ms. Kim Bodine to get that information. After your last meeting, I received an email from DEO, nice little short, 7 or 8 line paragraph, which essentially and politely said, this is how it's going to be done. If you want the information, sign the contract. Kim Bodine says she needs the information, and then she will sign an agreement acting as our trustee of the information. So I would ask for board action to authorize the chairman to sign this additional contract being required by DEO, because Kim needs this information so she can start helping our people get back to work.
So moved.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Mathis, second by Commissioner Jones. I don't see how they do things crazy. They say they wanna help people get back to work, then they putting people out of work. What's coming there this morning? And said they ain't storm related. Well, they working for the Kim in that department. The state is crazy. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All against? That passed unanimously.
Mike, will you get in touch with Ms. Kim and let her know the board's action?
I will.
Thanks, sir.
That's
That's
it.
it for me, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioners' comment. I got one now. I'm tired of that trailer thing over there. It's holding up the whole system. We can't get now another grant behind that one trailer. Been having 2 years. They talking about, it wasn't that, you can't take nobody word. It was that lady's job to go in there and find out, talk to them people and ask them could they go across somebody's property. She ain't supposed to take them children mile for word of mile. She supposed to check all that. That's part of her job. So they putting it on them, but she acting just like them. Maybe you need to get 2 people to go in there and have 2 people with the program you get it done. Because we can't get now another project going until we close that out. That's holding us up. That's holding the whole county up behind the trailer. In which them people didn't, it got burnt. They didn't burn it. Them folks over there who they hired burned it. Somebody got to be grown in the situation and get it done. Any more commissioner comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I just wanted to comfort the public to know that this Franklin County Commission is public friendly and is accessible by the public. We have invested several $1,000s in new broadcasting equipment. Someday when the public returns here to our chambers, you're going to be able to see what looks like 4 television screens, surround sound. I want the public to know that you can reach us anytime by phone, you can reach us by email, you can reach us by correspondence, and you can reach us through our county staff. We, right now, are closed down with the public in the front of our chambers here because of CDC guidelines and state guidelines, and we're following them. But we want the public to know that we're wide open for business 24/7. We welcome your calls.
Any more comment? We adjourn.